goes out, that's Angel Landing, so you can hike out to that peak. Really? And then, yeah, you would not like that one. It's alright, I don't like this one.
'79T 2458 Learning Corp Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Holy guacamole. What's up, fellas? I've got something good for you. Welcome. I have a confession to make. I thought it would be good because I'm tired of seeing Clary's Zoom meeting setup. I went down to Nevada. That's why I wasn't here last week. I know there's no image. I'm getting to that, Jack. Yeah, so I was tired of his Zoom setup. He finally bought a new microphone. So I thought, why don't I get him my Makos camera? I'm like, this thing is DSLR. It's 4K. It's webcam easy because I know his boomer self doesn't like complication. Like, oh, there's two buttons. I can't handle it. On my podcast, I'm trying to do the Midwestern accent. Anyway, the reason why is because I had two. And for the life of me, you think I could find the fucking thing? No, I cannot. So we're going cameraless this one, which is better anyway, because I can kind of be more casual and just riff off with this, guys. I do realize that just giving you a black screen is ridiculous. So I got some videos I had from the trip, and I'm just going to put them on. I think, which one do I start with? No, it's the flight home. We'll start with the drive. I think I'm good. Hopefully nothing stupid ends up slipping in here. If so, I'll just have to get rid of it. So if you don't know, I went down to Nevada. We did an episode of... apparently it's not Access Vegas because there's no girls. And by the way, those campers are fucking annoying. It's an improvement. I'll hush you. For topics here, it's a bit weird and esoteric on the thing here. I'm not going to show you the hike. The hike is rather boring. What I'm going to do with a lot of the footage I've taken here is I'm going to film... I haven't done a vlog in forever. And I am really liking writing right now. So I'm going to give you guys a nice little, a heartfelt, from the heart kind of thing with this stuff. I think it'll be good. So, at least there aren't any ghost sounds like Rob says. Yeah. And Clary's expecting me to come on here and rant about hikes. Look, it's actually, I don't mind the hike. It was a nice hike. It was pretty eventful. A lot of driving, though. Oh, my God. Maybe I've just been in the city too long, but the idea of driving for 2.5 hours to go take an hour and a half hike, to drive an hour and 2 hours back. I will say this. I'm going to put... I know, it's like, oh, your personal life, I don't give a shit. There's a theme when I was down there, and Clary would laugh when I did it. No, he wasn't bad. It was at the point where you're huffing to the point where conversation's a bit difficult, but that's it. But that's any hike. If you're not hiking to the point that it takes you a bit to have a normal conversation, then you're not hiking enough. Yeah, and he doesn't drink water. But the theme of it was, we would just do something. Go out to dinner, hang out, show me his pistols. And then I was like, you know what I love about America? You know what's great about America? And I realized, I'm like, it's a bit of a bit. And he goes, what? And it's just everything. Everything, man. It's not that America's the greatest country on earth. It's that Canada, and this is the way I described it to him. Canada has pick anything. Going out to dinner. Drinking out of a paper straw. It's 5% annoying. You can still drink the drink. It's not going to impede on your ability to enjoy an iced tea. But I went there to the States, and we were just at, what was the place called? BJ's. Had an iced tea, and it was a plastic straw. I almost wept. I almost cried. So, it's just nicer. Everything is 5% more annoying here. But the problem is there's 800 things in your daily life, and so it gets really annoying really fast. and you just don't have any of it there. Like the drive was long, but there was no traffic. Like Clary started, like, see this here where there's like 2 cars in front of us? He was complaining, look at this traffic, the damn tourists. And I was like, bro, you have no idea what this is like until there is a non-stop cavalcade of brand new BMW 3 Series, brand new migrant blocking traffic and then rubbernecking because there's an accident on the other side because somebody realized, oh, I can't film TikToks while I'm driving to work in Toronto. So there's like this big traffic jam, and then you get past it, you realize there was no reason for it. It's just because everybody was rubbernecking the accident. Going out to dinner, plastic straws. I went to the gas station. We didn't do a Buc-ee's, which kind of annoys me. We'll get to all that stuff. You're asking about my fear of... It's an aversion. I don't like heights. I don't know. It's weird. Because I was asking him, I'm like, do you ever have that... Like when you get close to a peak or a cliff, your body has like this uncontrollable... It feels like a magnet is pulling you over there. He's like, no, man, I don't feel that. I'm like, all right, maybe this is a phobia then. But I just don't... I'm not a big fan of heights. Because on that particular part, he was like, oh, you got to come over here. The pictures are great. I'm like, the pictures are great right here. But... yeah, and then the gas station. We go to a Mavericks, and they just had burritos there. And it's not the best burrito I've ever had, but it's the best burrito when I go out to Fat Bastard Burrito here or Chipotle's. It was like that good, maybe a little better than that. And he goes, yeah, I'm sorry. The burritos used to be way better here. And I was like, son of a bitch. Kind of annoying. So I'll probably pepper that in. Also, huge shout out and thank you to Rolo Tomasi and to Mike Sartain, who I finally met. Nice man. He's definitely, I guess he's Colombian, and he definitely has that Colombian-Cuban like bulk to him. I don't know how to explain it, but you can just tell. Once he mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Wonderful people. I do wish I had been there for, remember his old videos where he did them in the Florida bathroom with like the tiles on the back? But his new studio is wonderful. He's kind of got the same setup there as I do in my condo here. He's like bragging, oh, you got a pool here? I'm like, yeah, I got a pool in my place. You got a gym here? Like, I got a gym in my place. It turns out it was just like any high-end condominiums like they have here in Adam there. It was like a big thing. So that was the one thing that I had that I'm like, all right, Toronto's on par for like luxury Vegas podcast studios, which was nice. Yeah, but on the good side of things, we had our Canadian political debates, and they were annoying because it was mostly, hey, how much do you love immigrants? And that was like every question kind of circled around back to that, which was pretty annoying. But then Pierre Polyev won my vote back. He's like, yeah, enough of this plastic straw crap. I'm like, you know what? It's a small win, but it's at least a step in the right direction. I will hold my nose and vote for the guy who brings in another 250,000 migrants and jams the city up with more people. So heck with it. Topic, though, is going to be some red pill stuff. And it's kind of, like, if you don't know, Dog Walker, it's come out. It's doing great. I'm actually happy with this because it was a lot of work. I always thought of it's like, yeah, it was only like 6 months to put it together. And Nick's like, no, man, you had this book. Like, Fuck Files was out for 6 years. So you kind of had all that time to mull over the story, and that's why it came so easy to you, which makes sense because Jake Long in Softbone it's not a struggle, but it's definitely more different. By the way, for those of you who have read it, thank you. I am glad you enjoyed it. As Nick calls it, it was a comedic story with moments of seriousness on it, which was nice. Hello, gentlemen. Greetings from Wallace and Gromit. Calling from Adam. Yeah, and that's the one thing I do like. Like, Clary, I really do like our little banter back and forth. We got a Statler and Waldorf vibe to us. Because I find everybody else, they just... is it BJ's Brewhouse? Okay, that's the one. It's nice. TFM gave it a shout out. Well, good for... That's awesome. Yeah, I've been... and we had like a good talk about all this old stuff. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of like... I don't know if it's a nostalgia cast or whatever, and it kind of ties into your guys' thing too. Couch stream while I prepare for cooking, good old times. Yeah, you got to prepare for cooking. I was thinking, we were talking about the old days, because I realized he knows everybody, and everybody loves it. Clevery's one of those guys, like, you can't not like him. If you don't like him, there's probably a reason for it, like a personal defect on your side. Anyways, I saw some questions. Feel free, ask questions, put in super chats. I'll make sure to get to them. Somebody's asking if I'm afraid of heights. Not afraid of heights, don't like them. I even went skydiving, so I'm like, this will kill the cure for astrophobia, and I'm like, no, not really, because it doesn't register as high. Anyways, don't like it. But the hike was fun. It was fun, and like, you know what's great about America? When we went up there was all these ruts in the road. I'm used to seeing those because the whole place kind of reminded me, like, we went through 5 different climates, and the one part kind of reminded me of my hometown in British Columbia, where I was raised. It has that like forested thing, the beat up roads. And I was like, man, I'm starting to get like nostalgia for my childhood here. I don't like this. That was the big thing I didn't like. But anyway, so we went there. We had to drive through all these ruts. It was really annoying. I'm going to skate across those. But by the time we went to the hike and went back, they already had an excavator up there. And the excavator had cleaned up and fixed the road. And I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Which was good because we had to get back. So we were planning to have to like start lugging chunks of clay back and forth just to make a path for us to get out of there. So the fact that you guys are on the ball for that stuff, that is great. Yeah, so it was a wonderful time. I've definitely gotten 2 or 3 shades darker. Still no sunburn. You don't want some sunscreen? I'll be good. The only time I've ever had a sunburn was it Costa Rica? Sao Paulo. Anyways, yeah, and I was like 8 hours in the sun, dehydrated, drunk, playing around in the ocean, 0 sun protection. First sunburn I've ever gotten. I'm like, if this is what white guys go through every day, I feel bad for you. But we were talking about turd flinging monkey. It's the one thing I kind of miss during this whole time is I wish I had been here for the Rule 0 where we had him on. There was a brief period where turd flinging monkey was on for a couple episodes, and that other guy, Misandry today, turns out to be a complete fraud and a fake, which is fine. TFM, never had a problem with him. Like, I don't like the sex doll content stuff, but I mean, he's happy, so I can't fault him for that. He's one of the few MGTOW guys who actually just went his own way unapologetically. I don't agree with it, but I'm not meant to. You don't have to worry about that. But the fact that he gave it a shout out was really nice of him. And the reason I regret that podcast was because he was sitting there, and Donovan at the time was there, and he could not get over the sex doll thing. He was shitting on him for, oh, you degenerate bastard, sex doll, blah, blah, blah. And he just kept yelling at him. I know, it's so out of place for Donnie, right? And I was going, that's not the conversation to have, man. He goes, because I kind of did a little Twitter one. I'm like, the big issue I have with those little real dolls is the uncanny valley. And you're in the bottom of the uncanny valley. That's the part I don't get. When there's hyper realistic, whatever. But at this point, you're better off getting a super stylized one, because it's just a sophisticated sex doll anyway. He goes, oh, so if I grabbed you something like this, it'd be better. And he showed an image of like Heavy Metal magazine of like a chromed up sex bot. I'm like, yes, absolutely. That would be cooler. That's got that cyberpunk vibe to it, the high-tech, low-life, absolutely superior to humans in every way, but looks like manufactured stuff. I thought that stuff would be cool. Anyways, shout out to TFM, the monkey boy with the cigar, blabbing about this, that, and the other thing. A little bit too many statistics for my thought. And that kind of is what inspired, well, not that specifically, but the whole trip kind of inspired this, because I realized, like, I am not, the sphere is not the sphere. It's not the sphere I know. It's not the sphere I remember. It's not the sphere I had fun with. Like, there's more to life than sitting here ranting about statistics. Statistics without any analysis. Did you know 7/10 of divorces are Yeah, I know that. But did you ever wonder, like, why is that the case? Well, the answer to that is if you walk in, there's like 0 chance you're coming out alive, so you might as well just quit. I'm like, that's not helpful. If you want to just bubble wrap your life, that's your business. But if you have ambitions outside of just staying at home wrapped in bubble plastic wrap so you don't get to buy a bus when you leave, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Did you ever wonder why those ones separations happen? I mean, there's a few reasons. And the more I've been in this space, the more I've kind of learned that, talking to guys, listening to their stories, hearing their field reports, getting them to truly, what's the word I'm looking for? Truly look internally, look inside. I watched your appearance on Access Vegas. I mostly was Rolo and that other guy talking. It reminded me of Rule 0. Yeah, I liked it. It was the banter. But it's like, and this, I'm not the greatest collaboration podcast guy, but I find a lot of people have their talking points and they stick to them, which is easy. And it makes it, not easy, but it's simpler. And it makes it very easy, and you could sit here and you could talk with confidence. Yeah, it's did you know 8 out of 10 girls are old, and like all that stuff. Okay, and how does that help you? It doesn't really. It helps you get mad. And I'm not shitting on the guys at all. I mean, They got a course to sell. They have, was it revitalize, reinvigorate? Somebody help me out. What was the name of that stupid, what was the course that Rolo and the new guy, Jim? I can't remember his name. He was a nice guy, very quiet too. They have theirs. So I get it. You got to make a buck. And as far as I can tell, with the little bits that I've been shown, it's a good product. It's a good product. But I think it kind of doesn't capture the entirety of what guys would be here for. You know what I mean? Ignite. Thank you. Reignite. Spending coupons. Nice. Yeah. I was actually kind of hoping girls would show up, or he would bring some girls, but he didn't. He kind of set the thing up for me last minute. Very appreciative of that. That was awesome. He, Miguel, wonderful hosts. The studio is wonderful, by the way. It's fairly sizable. Like when you look at it on the screen, it looks like a fairly claustrophobic thing with a table in there. No. It's very spacious. Very spacious. But yeah, we can do better. Or I can do better. They're doing good in what they do. I can do better. I have done better. Because, yeah, everybody's an OnlyFans girl. That's fine. I mean, whatever. I've always argued that the internet hasn't made women thoughtier. It's just made it more visible, you know? It's made it more visible. So, yeah, right nowadays, sure, X amount of women out of 100% are on OnlyFans now, horn it up. But those were the same girls that when you were raised in your mid-sized American town, probably slept with half the city, then moved to the big city and reinvented themselves. Like, oh, no, I'm not like that anymore. So it's just different in that you can tell. You know, I know exactly what these girls are like. They were exactly like this in the 90s. They were like this in the 2000s. Oh, but they're on OnlyFans. Yeah, well, there were still girls gone wild, and the girls were still throwing it out, and that was great. So does it really matter? And you don't have to. You can set your boundaries wherever you want to, right? But now that you know, what do you do about it? Well, they were always like this. So what do? You focus on how they treat you. How do they treat you? Do they treat you well? And most every example I have seen of women who get like the divorce, it's you had to lie to yourself to get it to happen. You know? So many guys. They'll come in to my, I did the Patreon, and I'm moving the Patreon over, by the way, to Substack, which is awesome. Way better platform. Working out some kinks. So if you're in that case where you want to learn field reports, get almost like a syllabus for Red Pill. It's not so much like a masculine excellence workshop. It's teaching. They would spend 6 months where the wife is essentially checked out, all kinds of sketch behavior. And they're like, well, if I work out and get a six-pack abs, I'll win her back. And then they realize, okay, she's been cheating. Well, that sucks. Sucks when your girl cheats on you. Hurts, makes you cry, makes you angry. You want to hurt the people. Anything you do, and this is the beauty. That's the beauty of like the feminine imperative stuff. That anything you do is either illegal, or frowned upon, or a hit to you. So all of your instincts of what you should do, probably wrong. So what do you do? Well, I mean, she's not yours. It's just your turn. That was the whole point of that statement. She's not yours. It's just your turn. The hell are you talking about? Yeah, it's not yours. It's just your turn. You know what that's meant for? That's not meant for nihilism. That's meant for acceptance. It's almost Eastern Taoist, which is why I'm surprised nobody got on it. Yeah, your girl cheats on you. It feels really bad. She actually likes the other guy. She's in the honeymoon phase with him. She treats you like shit. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good thing. And this is what I mean. During the divorce, the worst thing that can happen to you is the guy who is cheating on your girl dumps her. Because then she gets mad. She gets irritated. She feels rejected. And who just happens to be there with a whole weaponized court system against him? You. So during the separation, the best thing that could happen is you get cheated on. Because then she is just, I just want it to be over quick so I could start my new life with this guy. And it's not like we didn't know this. David Buss, Cindy Minson, Rollo and I disagree with the, what does he call it? There's a concept called the mate switching hypothesis, or alpha bucks, beta bucks. There's different terms for it, but it doesn't matter. The idea is, do women want to have as many kids from as many different men as possible? Is that our default? Right? Maybe. Or is it the case where the girl wants to have her beta bucks provider at home and then just go out and get her strange elsewhere from the alpha male? Rolo convinced it's the latter. And I'm like, it's probably the former. Because every example I've seen has been from a girl who's moving on or moving up. In her mind, she's moving up. It might not actually be up. Sometimes it's like an objective downgrade. But it doesn't matter. You only have to be different sometimes. So now that you know this, like, what do you do to solve it? Well, I'm just not gonna get married. I'm gonna get checked out. It's like, yeah, maybe don't. You don't have to get married. Just cohabitation. But if the thing ends, all right, it's over. It's over. Move on. You're gonna feel bad. You gotta remember that though. You gotta normalize that because it's one of the things. One of the few things the military put me on. Gave me a therapist. When was this? I don't even remember the year. It was in the 2010s somewhere, and the one thing they articulated that really made sense was when something happens, you feel anxious, you feel nervous, you feel whatever. And then and it's like a 2 out of 10 event. And then in your mind, you go, what the hell's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? And you start worrying. Now you feel like you're broken. And that escalates. And the feedback loop escalates this 2 out of 10 event into a 10 out of 10 panic attack. So just don't. You have to normalize it. Yeah. This is what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to feel pretty shitty right now. You're supposed to want to hurt people. That's exactly what you're supposed to feel. But now that you know you're supposed to feel that, and you've bypassed your feedback loop for anxiety or anger or whatever it is you are, you go through it. All right, you spend your day, spend your weekend sitting on your couch, eating nachos, wearing a bathrobe, getting drunk, passing out in your living room, whatever. Get it out of your system. And then you get up and then you move on. All right, now what? And most of the time, there's tons of stuff. Tons of stuff you can do. So that's one of those things where I really hate this doom and gloom. Hate the doom and gloom. Oh, excuse me. There was actually a neat little study on this one. It was a Russian study, old communist Soviet stuff, where they showed if they just pump fear into you, like show you nothing but stuff to make you angry and scared, after a couple months, they can actually influence you, brainwash you almost, into believing one thing or another, and then rational debate and statistics don't fix that. So I would argue the manosphere in its current implementation is actually making things worse, which is annoying as hell. Anyways, we're going to pause this for a sec. We're going to do an ad. I have like a big sneeze ahead of me here. Where's the stupid things?
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for
Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips? Fuck you!
Oh, god damn it, it was muted this whole time. Son of a bitch. My bad, boys. My bad. Yeah, they fill your head with fear. After like 3-4 months of watching new manosphere stuff, of course you're going to have a really weird view of things, and then you just refuse to accept... You refuse to accept any information of the alternative. And it works, and nobody's malicious. That's the worst part. Nobody's malicious. Everybody has a course to sell, and they want to sell the course. And the stats and the examples they're giving you, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But Again, it's like those commies found out. If they just show stuff that scares you for a couple months, that's all it takes to make you believe whatever they want to believe. And marketers just want to be able to get your attention. This stuff works. Of course, the alternative is these guys who are hyper optimistic. It's like, no, man, you just got to believe. It's like, no, fuck believe. There's the third option. Third option is just observe, orient, decide, and act. I talk about ODA loops all the time. And it's not because I'm like latched onto something. It's because it works. The idea of having some feedback loop on your life. Yeah, she's not yours. She's just your turn. Yeah, I get it. Girls are only fans in that. Well, how does she treat you? Oh my god, but she was a whore on camera. Most girls are really shitty on OnlyFans anyway. If you want to really do stats. Most women don't make rent on it. So it's just like a brief period where they try some slutty stuff. Is that any different than in the 2000s? When they moved to a new town, slept with 5 or 6 guys, had some fun with plenty of fish? No, not really. One Piece fan. I'm not a One Piece fan. I don't like new anime. I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't watch new movies. I find them annoying. Especially anime. Because everything now is just weird. It's all Dragon Ball Z derivatives. It's high school drama derivatives. It's stuff just doesn't interest me as much as it used to. Oh, there we go. Man, it's hot here. There's a 2-week period before we switch our heat over to air conditioning in the building. So there's a 2-week period where everything is too hot. And in the winter, there's a 2-week period where everything is too cold. We're in the too hot period right now. Sweating my bag off. Yeah, I know One Piece started in the 90s, but that's the problem with One Piece is that there's like 1,000 episodes. And I'm like, dude, I don't have time to get caught up in that. If you want to hook me, you should have hooked me at the beginning. So yeah, you got Turd Flinging Monkey. And it's the funny thing is, as the most degenerate guy on here, he's the one who's having the most fun. I don't know how much fear-mongering he does. I don't. But it's probably the same as everybody else, but probably, or maybe even a little bit less. And I don't want to be that guy. I get it if it grabs another 30 seconds of your attention to me yell and rant about the women and fill you with fear. That's commie propaganda. Do I want to be a communist? No. My entire adult life has been spent training on how to sink communists. So yeah, I don't like the stuff they do. I'm going to go on a limb here and say I don't like commies. I don't care if they're conservative or liberal. I don't like commies. One Piece is great and way more thought out than Dragon Ball ever was. Maybe. Like I said, 1,000 episodes. I don't have the time to invest in that much on something new. There's so many projects on the go. So many projects on the go. All right. So I see some questions on the Substack. Here's the way it's working now. Way better platform. I find the user tools are better. The content management is better. I think I call that CRM. Because the one thing I never liked about the Patreon, and it kind of works as a security thing, is that there was no way to organize everything. Substack seems far better at that. It also seems better at managing the clientele in like better engagement and stuff. So it's just better. So the plan now is, right now I'm dual casting. So when I do the Patreon, it'll be up on Patreon, it'll be up on Substack. I'm doing it both ways because there's like 18 different ways to have people get their field reports, to go over the field reports, and as the month or two moves on here, we're going to see which ways guys prefer it. Do they prefer the little chat system that I set up? Do they prefer just comments underneath it? The video recording, do I do it there? Do I record it on YouTube and then throw it over? Do I set up a thing? So we're working that out. Anime started in 1999, mangas from 97. I guess you're not wrong. Anime did start in 1999. Before then, it was just Japanimation, which if at all possible, I try to call it Japanimation. I just find it to be a much catchier term. Much catchier term. It feels nostalgic. So we got all these stats, and it's just it's like weird fag shit too, you know. If I see one more person reference the fruit flies, I even saw it today. Some random dude, million follower kind of dude. What's his name? Do I even have it on here? Buck Sexton. I don't know what he does. He's the co-host of the Clay and Buck nationwide radio show. First off, fuck that guy. He's got the old how men rate women and how women rate men. You know that 70% of men are unattractive as far as women go. It's like, how do you feel now? Argue the stats. Like, fuck you guys. Stop scaring these poor bastards. They're here because they're dissatisfied with life, and you're there filling them with statistics and fear and nonsense. I'm here trying to entertain. I also like the fact that Red Morning is uploaded on Apple Podcasts. Yes, that's the other thing I've been doing. So these Red Mornings, when they're done here, I put them onto Substack, email them out to people. I wasn't sure if anybody liked them. I worried because I was worried about emailing guys out too much on my newsletter. But a lot of you guys like it, and it automatically uploads to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, and stuff like that. So you can listen to this elsewhere. If you're listening to this on a platform other than YouTube, welcome. Hope you enjoy yourselves. But I just hate this garbage. It's garbage. Throw out that stat. Yeah, most women find men unattractive. How does that help you in any way? What is it you do with that information? Well, the only thing you can do is give up. Well, that's not what I said. I just said they find men unattractive. Yeah, I get it. Nobody actually says just to give up now. What they do is they just, hey, this is against you, this is against you, this is against you. If you just so happen to get to the place where you decide to give up, it's not on me, that's on you. And that's such a chick thing to do, you know? I didn't say anything. I just drew a bunch of breadcrumbs, had you follow the path to get where I wanted you to go. But I didn't tell you to do that. It's like, fuck you. You know? Fuck you. Instead of referencing flute fight stuff, you should test out the PUA stuff. That would be to take the results serious. Absolutely. And that's the one thing I do on here. It used to be just fighting like feminist bullshit, but now it's like fighting manosphere bullshit. A lot of the times, I just give guys some, the pickup stuff. I get it. The mystery guy, he was kind of cringe, but look, it gives you a structure to go and talk and deal with people. Whether even married stuff, it kind of works, right? Some of the stuff when you kind of look into it. And then you start to, it's like decide for yourself. If you find out women truly are the irredeemable whores that everybody tells you on, well, at least you know now, right? Of course, what most people find is, oh my God, sex is completely easy. And when women are invested in me, they do things that make me want to be with them. Holy cow. It's almost like it's a marketing and a product thing. Either your product is missing something or your marketing is bad. And most guys find out it's a mixture of both. So you do your self-improvement stuff. You work out, you get in shape, you drop some weight, whatever. You start finding a little bit of charm, a little bit of style. All you needed. Girls are throwing themselves at you. Holy crap. Why is that? Because they're bored. They're bored. Their only thing they have right now is fingering their phone on TikTok and on Tinder. And maybe the guy will give me a dinner. And maybe it's something fun. Maybe it's something to stave off the empty boredom of modern life. Thank you, cell phone. Thank you, Apple. I love this iPhone. I was so mad when Fresh and Fit got rid of their push it to the limit. Well, wasn't that the thing? Like, I'm still due for a commercial for you guys with that whole, where they were complaining how they got demonetized and that they were broke, and then they had push it to the limit with them rolling in Bugattis, and I found that hilarious. Hilarious. And I thought, I should make an ad out of this one, because, like, the irony sells itself. It sells itself. And even the irredeemable whores, a lot of the time, they like settling down. Nobody likes to be alone and lonely. I don't care how many chicks are on there talking about, oh, I'm 50 and nobody and I'm happy. They're not happy. They're not happy. You're not happy. You know what makes people happy? When they get together. I'm not going to say like your family and the thing. No, it's just getting together. How you decide to do that, that's on you. That's on you. But you can make it work. But that's the trick. When I say it, make it work. What's it? Well, that's up to you. Everybody loves to tell you the it. Oh, this is the it. Not the it. Maybe you want to have a family. Well, if you want to have a family, the first thing you got to do is attract a woman. So all that degenerate stuff that you're annoyed with, that's what the chicks are attracted to. So you can either get with the program, and if a girl's invested in you, she'll start to want what you want. She'll start to vote the way you want. She'll start to pick up all your things. It's called mirroring, by the way. It's an attraction quality. The old mystery guys talked about that. And theirs was easy. It's just when you sit at the table with the girl and as you're doing your thing, you know, do something with your body. Cross your legs the other way. See if the girl reflects it. And if you start seeing those signs, those are what are called indicators of interest. It lets you know that she's into you. She's mirroring your body language. Do you think that's the only place that happens? No. You start if you live in a small town, you've seen it. Did you know small town girls love sports? Really? Yeah. They love sports. You know why? Because when you're in a small town, all the guys like sports. So if you want to be around men, you got to learn to like sports. Oh, they're just hanging out there to get a man. No, it's not how it works. Girls have this wonderful ability to lie to themselves and believe it. Not a lie if you believe it, Jerry. And so they start to like the Blue Jays. They start to like the Habs. They start to like all this stuff because that's where all the guys are. So yeah, if you're one of those guys that she's attracted to, you start to like what you like. So yeah. Oh, she's irredeemable, this, that, and the other thing. Well, she's irredeemable until she's got something better to do. Yeah, but what about all those things in her past? Well, that's never been yeah, and the statistics say because the cavemen don't want to have new cave babies from cave cuck. No, it's not that. Every guy, if you're honest with yourself, you will know. Your issue with chicks and their body count isn't that they have a body count. And we're talking reasonable body counts. We're not talking about like 10,000 in a day kind of thing. You're mad because, dude, why did they get to have more fun than me? And now that I get to settle down and stop having fun with her, I have to be okay with like a subpar single life. You don't have to be. Have you ever considered go have your fun life? Get to the point where this stuff doesn't bother you. As much as I hate what's that guy's name? Adam 22 or whatever, and Destiny, all these guys, all the cucking stuff. That Adam guy is a porn star, right? I don't know how many girls he slept with, but it's been a lot. So this stuff just doesn't bother him as much. God knows how many girls I've known growing up that were definitely the town bicycle. And now they're settled down. They got 2 kids. They're happy, man. They're happy. I don't know if the man's happy. I don't know what their sex life's like. But the point is, yeah, people change. You don't have to accept it. But I'm not going to fill you with fear to tell you no. You don't need me to tell you what to think of. Yeah, the dog walker explains how the cube really works. Well, I mean, so the dog walker was never meant as an informative thing. It's meant as entertainment. You're going to see a guy going through his shit. I got my first negative review on that one, by the way, which is awesome. How did he refer to it? He said, it's like, I want to pull this up. It makes me laugh. It's actually pretty funny. You can't win them all. Sex, home furnishings, and self-hatred. I read this book on a recommendation of being a non-genre novel that men would enjoy. I didn't. Even the sex was boring. The characters were unlikable. The humor lacking. All right, first off, jokes landed. I don't care who you are. The jokes landed. Characters being unlikable. I mean, these are all subjective things. But it's weird to boil it down to sex, home furnishings, and self-hatred. Because there was no self-hatred. It was a guy trying to avoid pain. And that's kind of the theme here. Like, avoiding pain. I don't ever want to get divorced. What's the trick to that? We'll never get married. It's true. It's true. It works. But there's a lot of other things between here and there. Yeah, I love my town bicycle. She won't have my kids. Win-win. And dude, like I actually have a section in, was it Frame or Dread? I think it was Frame, where it was Red Invictus, and Red Invictus on Dread, and he was talking about it at his engineering shop. There was 2 women there. There was one like the blue-haired Democrat feminist, and the trad wife dressed conservative, right? And the conservative one was having marital problems, and it's because she never went down her man, never blew her man, never had fun that way. So the guy got his trad wife, but she was miserable. The other one was like a feminist. All the stuff that you guys think are horrible, the goddamn Democrats. But she was cooking food for her man on the weekends. She was treating him great. So like all these surface level things we're worried about, they don't really matter. All that matters is how is she treating you. Oh, she's got notch counts of 20, bro. It's like, dude, I got notch counts of 50. Get over it. I think somebody has me confused with Chest Rockwell. Well, there's worse guys to get confused with, that's for sure. Worst guys on earth. Worst guys. On this one, though, it's not bad either. Because, like, yeah, I didn't enjoy the sex was boring. The sex was meant to be the way it was. It's almost like a... back in the 50s and 60s when they had movies and the girls would sleep with a guy, it would always like fade to black. They never should be graphic. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And there was a reason for that. It's because he was so inside his head and neurotic and avoiding pain that he couldn't enjoy himself. Oh, allergies. Couldn't enjoy himself. And so, yeah. So, like, the details on that are perfectly scant. I think it picks up near the end when he actually learns to enjoy himself. Like, oh, my God. When you enjoy yourself, things are much more graphic. Things are much more fun. But when you're sitting here thinking, oh, I better not lean in, worrying about green lines when you're sitting there with the stripper in your place, it's like... It's one thing that was good about it. Everything was there for a purpose. Letting Dentic know it's not about just something you try once and say it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not going to let anybody know anything. Everybody's got their little gimmick. So it's whatever. So I don't like the new sphere. I don't. I think it's ridiculous. I think people are just doing that communist brainwashing tactic of fill your head with fear for a couple months. And it's not just here, it's everywhere. Even Tekken, of all things. Tekken just had a new update, Season 2, and they switched it so it's all aggression and none of the things that made Tekken good. And then every content creator just starts yelling and screaming and panicking. And so now, in the next 3 months, everybody's going to start to have, that's going to be their image of the game. Doesn't matter what you show them, they could fix things, it's too late. Politics, same thing. I am watching a lot of the goddamn Democrats, and they're yelling at everything. There's immigrants are getting their day in court. The MS-13 gang member was really just a good boy. He didn't do nothing. This absolute train wreck of a fear-mongering campaign where Trump is coming after you. At first, he came for the MS-13 gang members, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't an MS-13 gang members. Assuming it's going to be like Bill from Ohio is next on the list, right? To be in the prison camp. It's like, whatever. Is container word the same thing as social construct? No, it's not the same thing. A container word is just an empty word that the other person's meant to fill with their ideas. It's a manipulative thing. Like when I say do the work, that's a container word. It's essentially a container word because what's the work? The work. You get to fill the work with whatever you think the work is. I get to talk about it with whatever I think the work is. And then we all pretend we're not talking on the same page. We're not. We're talking about completely different things. You talk to a bodybuilder, doing the work is about getting those six-pack abs. You talk to a playboy, that doing the work is about making sure your place looks good for bringing chicks home to. Doing the work is a completely subjective thing. So if you don't exaggerate on that. This is the flight home, by the way. You're asking where I'm flying to. This one's the flight home from Nevada to Tirana. Silver Bishop. Oh my god. All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha.
Named Ryan Stone.
It says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline.
I am now concerned for my career.
And I still recommend clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just...
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
How do you not love that guy, man? Even with the whole cuck article stuff, how can you not love it? Let's get back to where I was. There we go. Heartfelt to you, Couch. If you wanted repaired roads, move to Austria. We normally take care of our infrastructure. That would be nice. To be fair, the American road, the one I was talking about in Nevada, that was all just dirt road. The roads are just amazing there. You know what's great about America? Their roads are all great. None of this pothole bullshit. At least not down there. It's part of the flight where I'm crying because I realize I'm going back to Canada. No, at this point I was tired. I was tired and I needed to get back home. Missed out on a lot of work to hang out with the guys and it was worth. So I don't know where it goes. I don't know where it goes next. But if it's anything like the past, and I think I was talking on the title was about like cyclic nature and stuff, the next 1,000 years, it's just going to be the same thing. Next year, people are going to find that, you know, ranting about how much of a whore a woman is not going to sell tickets. What's next? Oh, ranting about the Jews. That's the new one. You know who the real loser is in 2025? Anti-Semites. Because all of a sudden now it's cool and edgy to be anti-Semitic, and so they get to do the same thing that I'm doing here. Dude, our niche was great back in the day. Now there's a bunch of posers, but they don't even dislike the Jews. They love them, but they're just saying this for clout. It's like, yeah, Candace Owens. What's the other guy? The dude with the fucking boats. I can't even remember his name. The one who's got all the boats and the hose. Yeah, anti-Semites. What are those? Like I said, I'm from Canada on the West Coast. There was no real Jewish representation there, so I'm still in the novelty phase. I'm finding this very strange. It's like talking about unicorns to me. But I get it. I mean, I get, like, when I've been watching a bit of the Sam Hyde's one show he's doing on there. Really good stuff, by the way. He kind of has that. He understands it too. Like, this is all just bullshit. Everything. It's all bullshit. And it's just going to drown out the good stuff. And then it's going to move on. And then people are going to rant about the Jews. And then after that, I don't know what's next. Indians there for a while. It's always about who's the next boogeyman. And it'll probably circle it back to women again. We're just going to be on that. It's just a non-stop series of people ranting about the enemy outgroup to you. Filling your head full of fear and nonsense so they can plug some information in there and brainwash you into thinking something. And now you're a zealot and you won't be told anything else. Because the commies did a study. And the study shows that's how it works. Blitzarian, that's the guy. I knew I could remember him. Anyways, it's a bunch of fag shit. I hate it. I hate it. Then it's just about what to offer. And I mean, I've done just about as much as I could. I will be coming on. I might even do like a red-pilled syllabus, like a course one of these days where I treat it seriously like a university or military training syllabus. FGR in a never-ending cycle, forever and forever. See, Rurb gets it. Rurb absolutely gets it. It's fun for a while too, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong in a good old little bit of misogyny to get you through a couple weeks of a rough time. And then you kind of move on. But then you end up like Clary or Rob, where it's like, I'm just going to go on a hike and just completely check out all this stuff. And that's the part that hurts. That's the part that hurts me. It's like, dude, you have a chance. You have a captivated audience. You can show them something better. You can show them, you can entertain them. You can do something amazing. And they don't. Most of the time it's because people are intelligent. Did you know entertaining is fucking hard? It's hard. If I want to write a book or do a video and I want to make a good one, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of planning. It is a multi-step process to cut out the fat and to make it funny or to make it heartfelt. And yeah, it's hard. Most people have, I don't know if they're lazy or untalented or both or neither or there's something else. But yeah, it is hard to entertain somebody. It's way easier to freak them out. And everybody's got all the same talking points too. So it's all about which person do I resonate with that's telling me the exact same thing. Which, Costco, there's like Kirkland Signature, there's Tide, there's Javex. Which one of those flavors of the exact same fucking soap do I want to watch? And it's just lazy. It's a red ocean, technically. Remember that? Remember the old show Carl and I did? Red Oceans and Blue Oceans. We were talking about this stuff years ago. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's a business term. Red oceans and blue oceans. The idea with a red ocean is it is a fairly established niche market demographic. The competition, the rules are known, and it's just Darwinian, best of the best, survival of the fittest. Blue oceans, on the other hand, are evolving, emerging demographic markets. There are no rules. The idea is you got to constantly be innovating because the new thing, you niche down, and you're not competing against anybody. You're competing against yourself. You're competing for something new. iPhone, great example of that for people. Like, the phone industry was a red ocean. If you weren't one of the baby bells from AT&T, you had no chance. You want to start a phone company? Nice try. AT&T owns the wires. Then the iPhone came out, completely changed the game. They're like, oh no, we're going to make our phones have Candy Crush. We're going to make it have iTunes. We're going to make them have podcasts. We're going to sell books on your fucking phone. And then all of a sudden, blue ocean. Samsung's like, oh, I want to try that too. Google, try that one too. And they're all doing new stuff and they're all dancing around. It's all new and it's wonderful. And I hate to say it, the red pill for a while there it felt like a blue ocean. There was Turtflinger with his sex doll and his statistics there. There was like Terrence Popp doing his thing. There was Rolo doing his thing. There was the Rule Zero guys. There was me doing my thing. It was always new and it was always different. And everybody was trying something new, seeing what works. And then all of a sudden everybody figured out, dude, why don't I just call women whores? That sells tickets. And then it got very red oceany. And one thing that should fill you with joy is to know, not think, but know that the tapering is coming. There is going to be 3 misogynist podcasts by next year. That's it. And they're all going to fight religiously for every ounce of market share, and they're going to try the most attention-grabbing, dignity-destroying thing. And it's going to be funny for a bit, and then it's going to get pity, and then you're just going to check out, and then the new thing's going to happen. So yeah, we're almost through it, buddies. We're almost through it. The day of like the red pill is the biggest, evilest guys ever. It's almost over. You just got to hang in there for a little bit, and it'll just be you and me, and we will talk about covert contracts, and we will talk about boundary enforcement, and we will talk about self-actualization, and we'll riff on frame. We'll talk about dread. Somebody might even develop something new, which would be pretty insane, because I don't know if there is much new, but whatever. I'm always open to it. Yeah, Rob's in there he's going to do camping videos. That might be the new thing. Watching him camping, talking about life. Millennials are aging out anyway. What's his name? Jack in here, a Dutch boy, he says the millennials have officially aged. All millennials have officially hit the wall. That's a whole new demographic. Do you think women who have checked out of the sexual marketplace and guys who are basically too old to deal with that shit are going to want to see women are all whores? No, probably not. They might like camping videos. Good for them. Morning. Yeah, they'll start pulling out their own teeth for super chats. It'll be Black Mirror. And yeah, and it's not like this is new. I still remember Andy Worski near the end when there was him, there was Brittany Venti, there was JF Garapi, there was the Drama Alert guy, there was iDubbbz. Like at one point, Worski was melting wax onto his nipples for engagement at the end. And that's because, like, yeah, there's no more Bloodsport. We're done. Yeah, I saw that one, Jack. So it fills me with some hope. But it's going to be a new thing now. Zoomers, I don't even know. I don't know. I give up. You guys, it sucks because I think the one thing that we have is a generational divide between millennials and Zoomers is that millennials were old enough to remember before this stuff. They were here before it happened, so we know what could be. Zoomers don't know what could be. As far as they know, this is what it's always been like. And it's gonna be neat to watch them reinvent normalcy, I think. New here, do you have any recommendation about covert contracts with yourself because of the past trauma and how to get past them? Basically, all of my work, and it feels a little bit self-promotional, but yeah, the entire point of Frame, Praxeology Volume 1 Frame, was to answer that specific question. And don't use their language. When you talk about past trauma and how to get past them, there's no such thing as past trauma. You know what past trauma is? Past trauma is PTSD. There's guys that went to Afghanistan that I know, and they come back, and they'll see like a garbage bag flapping on the side of the road, and their brain thinks it's an IED, and they start having flashbacks on that. That's past trauma. Where you actually have like a physical response. It makes it impossible to get things done. Most of what we talk now about being past trauma is just the regular hardships of life. Hey, what's up? The regular hardships of life. But when we call them trauma, now it's not our fault. It's somebody else's fault. A trauma is something that's given to you. It's enforced upon you. And now since it's not your fault, you can dwell in it. Because as much as we say we don't like it, nobody likes coming down from a heroin high. But for some reason, they keep doing heroin. And it's the same thing there. And that's the first thing you do. You stop thinking of it as trauma. It's not trauma. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. Yeah, but it changed who I am. Everything you do changes who you are. It is impossible to go through life and not have the experiences you've gone through change you on fundamental levels. That's called life. Yeah, it's not when you're done banging your chick, but she's done banging you. And so you learn to just reframe it. That was the whole point of Frame, is like how you process and conceptualize the things that happen to you. And what do you do with them? God knows I do it everywhere. Yeah, the cheating on you. Oh, she's cheated, she's tore, it's trauma, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not yours, it's just your turn. That is a reframe. Guys talk about their wives leaving them as trauma. The MGTOWs and the MRAs used to love that. Oh, she left, she took the kids, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, now you're free. That's a nihilistic way of looking at it. No. It's a pragmatic way of looking at it. What do you want me to do? Panic? Take SSRIs for the rest of my life because a chick decided to be a chick? No. Devil may care. Have a good laugh about it. You think you're the first guy who's ever had it happen to? Probably not. You think you're the last guy? No, you won't be. Do you know how many guys survived, thrived, and moved on? Oh, God, most. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Probably nothing. You know, some guys aren't ready to hear that, and that's what they like to argue about it anyway. They argue about their trauma, how it's real. It's like, I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying it's not useful. Trust me, don't let emotions ruin or run your life. And there's a couple of concepts I talked about in that one. Like the one was killology, which it's an old World War I thing, and I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to tell you the backstory on it, but the idea is like, how do you get past this? Well, it's killology. Instead of trying to fight, brute force yourself to change how you feel about something, just change how you frame it. When they were shooting at bullseye targets in the First World War, they found out, I don't like shooting people. I'm not going to do it. So the army's like, well, we'll have you shoot at these black silhouette targets instead that look like people. So then when you're out in the battlefield, they designed their rifles so that the level of engagement was about the same distance where people look like silhouettes. So you no longer are shooting people. You're shooting at silhouettes that just happen to be people. Exactly. Aim for the shadow. Couch, how many super chats before I can join your war room? It's not a war room, man. It's a syllabus. And it's just there. You just go on the Substack and join it. Marty put a link to it. I'll pin it to the top of this thing if you want to come in. For the most part, it's relationship stuff, syllabus stuff. I can do single guys, game stuff. I don't want to. Like, it's not my focus. But there's some guys like it, and so we talk about it. I'm competent at it, which is all you need. But for the most part, it's almost just a system on how guys can learn to manage their own struggles. Because the OODA loop stuff, I just forgot you're a Redditor. Oh, shush. Yeah, for the most part, this system works pretty well with anything. If you're having troubles with work, go through your OODA loops, you be self-reflective, do your field reports. Dealing with gaming women, dealing with your wife, it's all the same thing. It's all. Turns out the human condition is not that complex. It runs deep, but it doesn't run very wide. Man, look at that. Not a lot of skyscrapers in the TO. All right. So the one thing I do like now, Sam Hyde is probably one of my favorites of the new guy. Well, I guess new. He's been around longer than me, but one of the new guys coming up to talk about stuff. Like, he understands that guys don't want bullshit. Guys like levity. Guys like the idea that you can laugh at something that's horrific. And I think he does it better than most. I really do. Oh yeah, the camera, you can see in the reflection there. It's kind of annoying. I wish it wouldn't be there. It's called an Insta360. That little round piece in the front, it actually comes out. You can have like a little mobile. It's like having a GoPro that's the size of a pill. It's pretty cool. Haven't logged in a while. Patreon logger. Oh boy. All right, Ken, I was just saying this at the beginning. The Patreon, I'm moving it over to Substack. So right now we're doubling up. So you could still go on to Patreon and find it. But it's primarily on the Substack now. And I'm double streaming it to both until we get the migration finished. So yeah. As it stands now. Marty's got a link to the new one there. So if you're still subscribed as a paid Patreon member, I've comped you on the Substack side. So you can view both. I don't want people double dosing. So go on that one for now. Back to the topic. It's why I really enjoyed Nevada. Rolo's still a little bit in the thick of it, though. I wish I could pull him out of it. And it's not that I think it's bad for him or anything like that. It's just because he's a big beacon for retards, man. I gave him, it's called a Makose 4K. If you look it up, Mokose 4K. It's somebody took a AS320 sensor. It's a Sony one for their DSLR cameras, and they put it into a small GoPro sized machine, and then they use mini lenses. They're like full on what do they call them? Zeiten? They're camera lenses, but they're made for smaller machines. Their idea is for security footage and that. But it's essentially a DSLR webcam. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But like the days of this stuff are over. Where is it? This one.
Ian, what do Not Ryan Stone. I see he's the most important guy in the world. Ryan Stone. Give a fuck about Ryan Stone. Me and him have gone back and forth. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Ryan Stone does not pass the 6-foot test. He's not even a man. So I don't give a fuck with Ryan Stone.
See, that stuff was fun. It was a wrestling promo. What is it now? That same guy is human trafficking, going to jail, rushing it. That's not fun. It's not fun. Why is Rollo always the victim? Oh, it's he's getting run at the flagpole. That's different. That I actually love that part of it. Where he acts like he's always Charlie Brown and everybody else is Lucy with the football. I love that part. A perpetual flagpole sitter. Yeah. Can't blame him though. Like, since he's been here, there's been like, what, 100 guys, and they've all dick rode him for clout and then done the stupidest shit. The stupidest shit. Like, the more I hear about Glenn's little thing with him, the more I'm like, holy Jesus, man. He has the patience of Job. What you see now, if I was in his position and I had been put through that much, I would be so bitter. So bitter. But he still comes at it pretty smiling, pretty happy. Heck, even seeing him in Vegas, he was just sitting down. I don't remember where we were. One of the off-strip places there. It's like, because everything there is a hotel and a casino. And he's sitting there eating vegetables and hummus. Just smiling. Wearing that do-rag thing that he always wears. A Slayer shirt. Just happy. Like, it's good. Good for him, man. I expect Mike to turn him like the rest, not gonna lie. I hope not. From the little bit that we've kind of talked and met before, he seems a little more, I don't even want to say sincere, but professional. He is professional. As much as he does like the bling and the girls and the hoes and that stuff, he does approach this thing definitely like a job, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm hoping that my initial read on the guy is right. Because if so, I think it's a great thing he's here, and I think it's a great thing they're working together. I really hope the best for them. Same thing as like the Crypto Bros. As far as Crypto, I have zero expectations of Crypto Bros not being pieces of shit. But Miguel, nope, no vibe for that whatsoever. Fairly normal guy, I like it. Dark Knight Dev, $5.01 super chat. I like Sartain, but all that talk about OnlyFans girls mad about not being subscribers can be dealt with if you just had some frame and some options. I agree. I 100% agree. And I get it. He's got to do his thing. But freaking you guys out about every girl being an OnlyFans whore, again, the commie propaganda stuff. Not a fan of it. I don't think it's necessary. Granted, I'm pretty sure Mike's red-pilled business ventures do probably do better than mine, like monetary-wise. So I can sit here and finger wag at it if I want to, but the problem isn't that I don't like it. It does work. Oh, one sec. I'm almost halfway to sneezing this entire stream right now. Thought you were going to stay for the WrestleMania for Vegas. No. I've been to Vegas like 12 times, so like the novelty has really worn off for me. I don't gamble either. My dad gambled. That's when my parents got divorced when I was like 5. So I never caught the bug. And if you go to Vegas and you don't want to gamble, there's not a lot for you to do. I don't like whores. I don't like drinking sugar water out of an Eiffel Tower drink. So it's like Vegas doesn't have enough to offer me. But in this case, it was just to go hang with the guys. They could have been in Detroit and it would have been the same thing. Well, maybe not Detroit. That sounds pretty dangerous. And I do like the meta of that whole visit. Because we keep telling you guys, oh, make sure you have friends and do this and be the leader among men and stuff like that. It's like, have you ever just gone into a room with 5 guys and had some fun and relaxed? Probably not. Are you sitting there? Like, I give Jack shit. Jack and the boys. I know they were just fucking with me. But when Clary and I first met up, their first question was like, is Clary as short as you think in real life? Talk about his height. I'm like, this is where I'm like, I don't know how to bottle this up and give it to you guys. I don't. I wish I did. I did. But like the idea of like checking his height never even occurred to me. Never even occurred to me. And I get they're just busting his balls, but I know there's guys out there that do that. They go with their friends and the first thing to do is size them up. Are my abs better than his? Am I taller than him? What's his game like? And it's like weird gamma male bullshit, right? I know, I think I'm a little tall. Like I said, I really didn't pay attention. It's hard too, because if somebody's less than 6 inches different, shorter or taller than you, more often than not, you're just looking them in the eye and it's about the same. You're like, oh, whatever. So until somebody's like 6'3", I don't even notice. That's when you realize, oh, I'm looking up or I'm looking down. And I know there's work in that too. You can't just go and have a good time and enjoy yourself and hike, because a lot of you guys, I don't know where you are financially, but there's a lot of guys financially who are not doing well. Especially in Canada. Oh my God. I had a rant on Twitter about this where, like, I'm doing very well. If you look up the average Canadian, or like breaking us up into quintiles, who earns what, the money, the real estate, all that stuff, I am top 10%, top 5%, somewhere in there. Basically, best of the best, creme de la creme. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not. I'm saying this because, like, dude, if I am feeling a pinch, there's no way the average person is not just fucking angry right now. Angry. So I get there's a lot of guys who are in that part, and it goes back to an old thing. Again, I put it in Praxeology Volume 1 frame. You don't get to do what successful people do. What do successful people get to do? They get to rant about how all OnlyFans chicks are whores. If you have no dating life and an OnlyFans chick is interested in dating you, fucking date the OnlyFans chick. Yeah, but she's got... You don't get a choice. You take what you have. You take what your options allow. And if it makes you feel like shit, that's fine. You use that. Fuel your game into the future. If you're forced to work with somebody who turns out to be like a drugged up asshole, tries to sleep with your wife or something like that, yeah, you didn't have any other options at the time, but that is fuel. Like, dude, one thing I will say about growing up on a ranch with the amount of like manual labor I had as a child is the one advantage you will have by having a dig ditches is that it is in your brain now. You will do whatever you have to do to never dig another ditch again. Never again. I am not going to dig another ditch unless I'm doing it for fun in my entire life. And I remember that viscerally, man. I remember going to bed feeling sore. I remember waking up feeling sore. I was 16 years old and my knees creaked and cracked. This whole, I'm getting older and my body hurts. Like, no, man, it's nothing to do with getting older. It's you're out of shape or you're doing physical labor. That's it. I feel better now than I did then. Almost forgot Chest and Rob. Oh, good. That one is fun. I love Chest and Rob. They're good. They're a good combo together. I do enjoy their little bands. Yeah, I grew up on a farm. It can never get worse. Exactly. And it's the same thing here with the girls and all that. You know, the fucking horror's this and the horror's that. Like, yeah, do you know how bad it is? No, but the guy told me statistics on the TV, on my monitor, on my phone. He told me what to think. Yeah, and he filled your head full of fear for a couple months, and now that typical commie propaganda, you're sitting there going, you believe this. I believe everything they told me because they brainwashed me into it. Well, not them, but everybody did. And nobody did it perfectly, and nobody did it purposefully, and nobody hates you. Nobody dislikes you, but no water is responsible for the flood either. No raindrop is responsible for the flood. There we go. The landing. Nailing it. Yeah, that's the stuff. All right. There we go. A little image. You can see my goofy little face. Bothers me too. So this is like my first or second or third year on this channel. And the gray has crept in since then. I don't like it. Rich warned me. Rich Cooper warned me. He's like, hey, and we were talking about the beards or like how YouTube can be stressful with all the bullshit. He goes, hey, I just want to let you know, my hair was brown when I started this. And you know him. He's got that silvery white beard going on. And sure enough, I looked at his like first videos. I'm like, oh my God, it happened to you. And it's going to happen to all of us. Like, son of a bitch, he's right. Military was absolutely easier than the farm. Military, everybody thinks that's like hard work. And for the infantry, it might be. It's not so much that it was hard. It's long. Sleep deprivation and stuff, but like physically not the most demanding job. Well, at least the plane didn't go belly up. Yeah, well, I don't do I don't do Spirit Airlines or whatever one they used. I don't mind paying for the proper price. 2 more years, your bird will look like mine. Now I think I'm done with the beards. I think I'm fine with just like a little bit of stubble in that. Killing me here. So yeah, the moon is made out of cheese, narratives and you. It's all about narratives. This whole thing. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, we all tell each other stories, and that's how we've always learned. There is everybody loves Evo Psych when it comes to talking about how women, whammon and their eggs. But the one thing that Evo Psych guys learned was how people spread information. There was Susan Blackmore. She used to work under Dawkins. She's pretty good. She talked about, she was the one who popularized, well, she and Dawkins popularized memetics, memes. Turns out most of how we learn is memetics. There's genetics, memetics, and temetics. Genetics is just, you know how your genes affect your behavior, your height, all those features. That's technically information sharing on a generational level. 10,000 years from now, my genes will tell this other person how to grow their leg. Memetics is everything that's not genetic. And what we're doing here, and narratives, how we used to learn back in the day, before the written word, we had developed language, we would share stories. And those stories were how we learned things. And you're watching the exact same thing that cavemen did, but instead of a cave shaman over a campfire, you see a dude running his mouth on a goofy podcast calling himself a Rhodesian in training. This is it. I'm telling you stories, and these stories are helping you shape your worldview. And I think because there's no consequences to doing a shitty job or a malicious job. It's not illegal to fill your head with bullshit. It's just not. And so we've been given this great, amazing tool, and we've been getting an incentive to use it. So what are you going to get? Yes, absolutely. Guys, if I just yell at you about women, if I show you statistics morning, noon, and night, if I fill your head with bullshit and nonsense and fear, you will believe my narrative. And you know the best part about my narrative, me being a content creator for whatever, is that at the tail end of my narrative, the best part of the story always involves my fucking course. My Alpha Male War Room of Masculine Excellence course. You use chamois cream on your head. I thought it was just for saddle sores. What the fuck are you talking about? Weird shit. Just a normal exfoliant, man. You'll be fine. But we don't have enough people who treat that with any reverence. No reverence. I could feel your head. And if I had it to summarize the narrative that I've given you here, not even so much mine, it's more the red pill one, is that things are the way they are. They may seem bad to you. They may be good to her. They may be good to somebody else. They may be bad for you. They may be good for you. The good and the bad are arbitrary and subjective. What makes you feel more pleasure and what makes you feel less pain? Most people define their good and bad by those terms. Yeah, they say they're good Christian people, but for the most part, it's about avoiding pain and about extending pleasure. That is their narrative. And our narrative here is just like, yeah, some things happen. People are going to do things to serve that narrative. It's going to suck for you. But you can't change that. There is no law you can pass to make women stop being women. There's no law you can pass that can stop that super attractive guy from doing better at you and being attractive. There's not that law you can pass that has the Nepo baby earn less money than you and merit is the only thing that matters. And Trump will say, like, none of that stuff matters. None of it matters. What are you going to do now that you know this? And so you look up, what are my options? And guys learn, what are my options? And what can I do to expand my options? It's called outcome independence. That means whatever you do, your success is independent of the outcome of any particular interaction. That's the ideal. That's the goal. If there was a narrative structure that I'm brainwashing you chuckle fucks with, it's that one. Whatever happens, I can deal with it and I could pull out the optimum scenario for me out of it. And it's simple to explain, but difficult to implement. Like, the first thing you got to do is define terms. No container words. What does happiness mean for me? And I'm not talking about what's Rolo's thing, the proximal happiness versus the other happiness. No, I'm talking just in general. What is it you want? What is that makes you good? For Rob, it's blowing fire, drinking Bud Light, and sleeping with a girl. For Marty, it could be something else. For Bishop, it's something else. For me, it's something else. Some of the guys, like, I want to have a family of 6. Live on a ranch. Live out my days. For other guys, it's like, I'm just going to enjoy the decline. For Clary, it's just, I want to go hiking, and then I want to go home, and I want to yell about the Democrats. And for him, that's what makes him happy. That's fine. So once you have a direction, and it's your direction, you can start making steps towards it. And that's where the OODA loops come in. Observe what's going on. Orient yourself to how do you get from there to where you want to be. Take an action that you think gets you there. Act on it after making the decision. And then observe. Did I get closer to my goal? Did I get further from my goal? If it's further, then you got to change something up. If you got closer, you double down on it, maybe exaggerate on it. And then the beauty of this is, like, since we have to kind of write it down, because otherwise our ego just fluffs over the stuff and we lie to ourselves too easy. But writing it down makes it objective. And because we write it down, that means other people can read it. And then guys figured out really quickly that, well, if I can read his and he's doing something similar to mine, maybe what he did is similar to what I need to do. And it's kind of just that iterates. You put that over 10, 20 years. There's like a pretty good codified list of things to do to get where you want. And of course, you got the autist in there, so you still have to use your head. Like, everybody knows. Everybody knows. If you want to get the girls, as Clary would put it, you got to look good. Well, how good? Well, the autists are like, well, you got to look great. It's not just about being thin. It's not just about having some muscles. It's not just about being groomed. No, you have to have 6-pack abs. You can't just look good in a shirt. You have to have 6-pack abs. No, it's not just about, not slouching. You got to be tall. You got to be 6'4". I need to get leg surgery. The fuck is that? I need to horrifically make those guys doing the height maxing leg surgery. How is that any different than pruning out? Well, it's not my dick. No, but it is your shins. Are we arguing here that modifying one part of your body against your long-term health is so much better than a different part of your body? This one's moral. That one's the fucking Democrats. Like, come on, bro. It's all the same. And we fill it with and sometimes they'll fill it with euphemisms. That's the other one. TRT. Testosterone replacement therapy. Do you guys hear that? Oh, testosterone replacement therapy. That sounds medical. That's healthy. You're doing a stack. You're doing a stack of D-ball. Yeah, but it's not doing a stack of steroids. It's not steroids, it's TRT. The fuck do you think that is? It's that with a layer of like rigor attached to it and some authority behind it. Well, a doctor's doing it. I'm getting blood tests. Oh, a blood test. Well, never mind. You never mentioned that you had to inject yourself with a needle and a syringe. Well, now that's so much better. And I'm not saying this to shit on TRT. I'm not. I'm saying this because you be honest with yourself. I want to do steroids. Well, steroids are illegal. Yeah, but if you do TRT, it's not illegal. All right, same thing. Well, that's cheating, is it? Cheating how? Where's the rules? Show me the rule book. You need to do it naturally. Really? So it's cheating if you inject testosterone in yourself. But if you go to the gym and do like heavy squats, which increase your testosterone production in your body already, that's different. What's the difference there? It's performative. It's like ninjas or samurais or Vikings. You know that whole, you sit in a sauna and boil yourself to death with the red light blasting in your face, or sitting in a ice cold waterfall, freezing your nuts off like a real man would do. Everybody seems to think that like the pain is what makes it. It's you're focusing on the wrong details. Focusing on the wrong details. It's like the workouts. Oh, I'm so sore after that workout, but it was a good workout. Why? Because you're hurt? No. No. Getting hurt does not make a good workout. It was one of the funniest things, like, or best things. Because we've all done ego lifting, especially when you're younger, and then you hurt yourself. You squat too much, you bench too much, you pull a muscle, you break a tendon. Heaven forbid you need soldier surgery after it. I have friends that did that. 20s are the worst time for not injuring yourself. But then switching over to talking to my physio guy at the time, he was like a sports physio guy. I used to do with the rugby team on the island. That was nice. He's like, yeah, you're not supposed to hurt after a workout. In fact, after every workout, like workout A, by the time you do workout B, you should be at that same level or stronger, or else you either didn't rest enough or you worked too hard. Yeah, but intensity matters. Yeah, to a point. Same thing as height matters to a point. How much do you need? And that changed everything when you realize, yeah, you're not supposed to be sore after your workouts. Maybe if you haven't worked out in a while, you get delayed onset muscle syndrome, but that lasts like a week and then that goes away. And that's your body's protective instincts trying to keep you from hurting yourself. You're not supposed to be sore after your workouts. If you think your workout went good because you can't breathe and you threw up in the parking lot, you're a fucking idiot. That's no different than the guys taking those cold showers or the hot saunas and stuff like that. So yeah, this stuff's not supposed to be hard. And the idea that the suffering is where your growth comes from is ridiculous. Suffering is not meant to be the goal. Suffering is a byproduct. Suffering is something you sometimes have to suffer through shit. Sometimes, dude, you're tired and that workout's a slog, that's fine. The pain of the breakup, that really sucks and that's fine too. But don't think the pain is what makes it good. What makes it good is everything outside of it. The pain is just the part that you have to deal with. And if you don't have to deal with it, don't deal with it. No, I got to do it in pain. Chesty had a great thing on this one. He's like, don't blame Bob Vila. Because we had this same thing in the Red Pill back in the day. There was, like, we had our thing, and then I think at the time it was Hunter Drew or Family Alpha or whatever his name was, Zach Small. I can't keep track. He changes his brands every 6 months. But he had simplified a lot of the stuff. A little too much, but then everybody was shitting on him. It's like, dude, you got to do it the way we did it. You got to look through 10 years of field reports and scan through this. And don't make it easier on these guys. They won't appreciate what they got. And it's like, dude, don't hate Bob Vila, man. I'll even use a programming reference so you guys can really understand that. Are you, like, who here works in assembly? Anybody? You do assembly? No, you don't do assembly. You work in C++. Why? Or C. Why? Yeah, but anybody who really wants to be good at this will learn assembly. It's like, yeah, you don't have to. Nobody builds with assembly. I think the last game was like Roller Coaster Tycoon. You guys, oh, fuck, Zoomers, I forgot. Okay, Bob Vila. Do you know, I hate how my Bob Vila reference is another 90s reference. Remember Tim the Toolman Taylor, Home Improvement, the TV show from the 90s? I can't think if there's a modern equivalent, but he essentially was just like, he repairs stuff and he'd teach you how to like change a tire and all that kind of stuff. But Bob Vila would show you, like, I think his show was called This Old House, and he would show you how to basically repair the entirety of a house. It was very simple, it was very easy, and yeah, it's a lot easier than going through a journeyman thing or reading through manuals and that. It was very idiot-proof stuff, and everybody got mad. Stop making it easy. It was hard for me. It needs to be hard for everybody. That way you could appreciate it. It's like, no, I'm not taking a samurai shower in the fucking river. If I can learn how to be just as good at you at the Bob Vila shit without having to spend 10 years torturing myself, then yeah, I'm going to do that. Of course you're going to do that. Why wouldn't you do that? Assembler is a boomer coding. Way lucky I'm too young for that shit. I mean, people are having to learn it now. They want to make, they're making like homebrew video games for Nintendo, and they kind of need assembly for that. I think it's the language they use. It's not even a boomer mentality. Boomers don't do things like that. I was QC for volumetric infusion devices. Jesus. But it's the same thing here. Yeah. As long as, like, I'm not even saying shortcuts. Shortcuts specifically refer to skipping essential parts to get somewhere faster. I'm not talking about shortcuts. It's about not needlessly making things difficult on yourself for the sake of it. Tool time is a genre now? Fair enough. Oh, that the boomers... Yeah, see, Jack, you're talking about kicking the ladder out from under you. That's what they do. God knows in Canada, we're seeing... I guess everybody's seeing that, but in Canada, that's... Our elections coming up. I think early elections. I think the girl and I are going to do early voting today. I don't know if it matters. Somebody actually brought up a good point of that one. It's like right now we have an unelected prime minister, an unelected senate, unelected Supreme Court, unelected governor general, and parliament hasn't done anything since December. Tell me how your vote matters. And I'm like, fuck, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But we're going to do it anyway because I want my plastic straw. God damn it. I've gotten past it. I'm like, whatever. The Indians aren't going home. They're here forever. Just give me my plastic straw. But the vote thing right now, it's boomers versus everybody else. Boomers and Indians versus Chinese and everybody under 60. That's the Canadian diaspora voting blocks. Because, yeah, they're kicking the ladder out from under them. They have their real estate, and now they're scared because real estate's going to crash. And so they're voting for the people that are going to import more people to keep housing prices going up. But they're not selling. They're just taking loans out on their property because they want to blow more money. And I think that's the worry. That's like the worry about a lot of this stuff, is that if you end up as one of those guys who likes cutting corners, you like container words, you bought into the hype of like the commie propaganda, like the fear propaganda, the gaslighting, you buy into all this stuff, you are now invested in this manosphere hype that OnlyFans girls are whores. Like, you need to see OnlyFans girls failing constantly. Otherwise, you feel like you've wasted your time. Don't hate Bob Vila, friends. Don't hate on Bob Vila. The only girl is going to settle down and have 2 kids and be perfectly happy, and she's going to do all her whore, and it's not going to matter. And there's nothing you can do about it. They're going to import 10 million third world diaspora into your 30 million population country. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop them. Yeah, it's a little entertaining. To be fair, ours isn't, though. That's the problem. We're trying too hard. Like, we had our debates recently here. We have 2 debates. There's a French debate and an English debate. And most people watch both because they talk differently in the second ones, because the Quebec people have a completely different... They care about a lot of different stuff. They tend to be more honest in the Quebec ones, but then the English one, you can look at it, it's like they watched that Trump and Hillary Clinton presidential debate, and they're like, I can do that. But it was just fucking cringe, man. Like the one question. What American products have you boycotted now? And they're asking, like, the prime minister this, and he's like, it's strawberries. I was like, what the hell? Strawberries now. And the other guy was like, strawberries. And I don't buy American wine anymore. And her guy's like, I like Canadian beef. And I'm going, we're fucked. We're fucked. And then you watch, and then one thing I do like about it is you watch the comments on it. Guy's like, yeah, I was gonna buy $7 fucking strawberries as opposed to the $2 ones from America. But then I'm like, why don't you work on fixing those $7 strawberries, friendo? That makes me laugh. Again, a lot of things you can't change. I can sit here and sky is falling stuff, and God knows I complain as much as anybody. But ultimately, there is a narrative to attach to this, and it's that same red pill narrative I've been saying since the beginning. This is the stuff that's going to do what it does, and ultimately, you're going to have to navigate in a way that's beneficial for you. I've done my part, navigating my life as best I can. I've done my part to articulate to you guys how you can navigate it as best you can in the parts that I know, and the rest is on you. You'll figure it out. Oh yeah, now I know real estate won't crash even if he wins. No, they won't crash. Price of a new build house will drop slightly, but it shouldn't impact property values. No, I think what would it... Yeah, if he wanted to impact property values, he would just ban foreign property ownership and force current foreign property ownership to sell properties. And, I don't know, send 5 million people whose visas expired back home, but he's not going to do that. So what do you do about that? Well, I mean, if you're in real estate, just ride the wave. It's probably... Here, you want to know the real black pill for me? What is it, 6-7 years now I've been in this space doing this thing. I've got 6 or 7 books. I'd have to go count. Yeah, I've written enough books that I have to go pull them up and count. So that's enough. I'm actually going to do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, working on 6, and 7, or 6 is in the can, waiting to come out this summer, and 7 will be out in the fall. 7 books, 1,000 YouTube videos, 3 YouTube channels, hundreds and hundreds of essays and posts and newsletters and stuff like that. And real estate has managed to out-earn in all of that. And I was like, Jesus. You can't help but be like, oh, hurts a little bit. Imagine my riding, who have voted bloc for 30 years, is about to get an Indian 25-year-old who immigrated 4 years ago in Parliament. No shit. That's actually kind of funny. In fairness, I would probably vote for the bloc right now as the protest vote. Fuck it. Let the Quebecers get in. And we go hotel, motel, holiday, and tisk tisk. But so yeah, this is all going to come and it's all going to go. And it's all going to start again. We're going to be mad at something. This generation's Andy Worski, the Andrew Tates, the Myrons, the Walters, the probably even Rollo and me. Fuck, for all I know, Rollo might end up as the Stefan Molyneux of the 2020s. Stefan Molyneux was the Stefan Molyneux of the 2010s. The Nick Fuentes guy is the David Duke of 2020. We're all just the same thing cycling through. And I'm not even saying this to like dishearten you, but it's if you ever get your head filled with bullshit fear and statistics and nonsense narratives, just remember it's like this is nothing new. Fresh and Fit was the Jerry Springer, was the old school Chicago Oprah Winfrey show, was Rick Mortar. There was an old talk show too. I can't remember this one. Like Donahue. Oh, that's all Fresh and Fit is. It's 80s Donahue from Modern Artists. Geraldo Rivera. Remember those ones? We don't need a decrepit old guru. We need a mental model. You don't need anything. That's the point. The whole point of this is not to need anything. It's to learn how not to need. Just to fix it for yourself. We need a mental model. There's not a single mental model. There's multiple mental models. I have given you hundreds of mental models over the years. And like, ideally, I'm hoping you guys have internalized them. She's not yours. It's just your turn. That is a mental model. That is a way of accepting loss in a relationship. That's accepting that you have no control over the fidelity of the women that you're with at all. And they are going to make decisions that possibly aren't in your best interests. And you need to be okay with that because the alternative is going to jail. And nobody wants to go to jail unless you're Pat Stedman, in which case jail sounds pretty goddamn good. See what I mean? Hundreds of those little things. Not yours, it's just your turn. Outcome independence, another mental model. The idea that if you're doing something and you need a certain outcome in order to be happy, then you're doing something wrong. You need to do things that increase your options. Like, what does that even mean? I'll give you a great example. You are in a struggling marriage. Your wife doesn't put out. She's gained weight. You feel trapped. You decide to come join my Substack. You get on your workout regime. You start eating better. You start looking better. You start dressing better. And you're like, I got to do this stuff. It'll win my wife back. It will work. And she will love me again. That is not outcome independence. That is scarcity. Outcome independence is, look, she's either going to get her shit together or she's not. What can I do to where she doesn't get her shit together and I'm still okay? Or if she does get her shit together and I'm still okay? And then you find a lot of it's the same stuff too. You're still doing the working out. You're still doing the eating right. You're still doing the game stuff. You're still learning not to be a fucking angry goofball, butthurt and validation seeking. And then turns out sometimes your wife is like, still don't want it. So she's out. Now what? Well, turns out it's really easy to pick up girls when I've got this much going for me. That's outcome independence. This is a video. We're watching the video right now. Look. Moving pictures. Moving pictures. Wow. We're video. Now, I gave Clary my camera, and I can't find my spare one. I got a new one coming anyway. I'm upgrading it to the new sensor. It's better in low light, which will probably work a lot for a lot of the Orion videos I'm playing in the future. So yeah, mental models. You see what I mean? Mental models. Outcome independence. Not yours, it's just your turn. Tetrahedron of frame is a mental model. The idea that you have 3 separate silos of your personal journey, your map, your male action plan. You have your intellectual stuff. Learn the things you need to learn, the skill sets you need. There's the physical one. Look good, smell nice, dress well. There's the emotional side. Understand that a lot of things are just emotional. They're the limitations of the human body, and you work around them. That's the killology stuff. When you're with a girl long term, you are technically getting micro dopamine hits from her all the time. That pair bonding shit is bullshit, but sorta. Turns out we don't do pair bonding like penguins where it's a lifetime thing. It turns out sex is our version of a micro pair bonding. You get a hormonal response to sex. She gets microdoses of testosterone, microdoses of oxytocin. You get oxytocin. You get serotonin. The conquering a girl and taking her to bed, that ups your testosterone. All of these hormones are like addictive feelings. Not extremely addictive, and it's not permanent. It eventually goes away. So when you get cheated on, when she dumps you, you are essentially going through withdrawals. Is ever wonder why breakups feel hard? It's because you're the same thing as getting off of heroin, just less strong. The weakness compared to like a heroin withdrawal and a breakup withdrawal. It's the same thing. That's your emotional pillar. That's where that mental model helps. And then when you understand that, okay, it's not that I miss her, it's that hormonally I'm having a response. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how human beings are designed. You understand why you're feeling the way you do. And now that you understand it, you can make a choice to act in a way that's in your own best interest. Well, I'm not going to sit here and call her 50 times and cry about it and stalk her, because that's not helpful. All I'm doing is prolonging the inevitable detox I have to do. So go, you detox. Go get drunk. Fucking OnlyFans girl. Call it a day. Mental models, man. All of this. Mental models. It all works itself out. Yeah, if you don't have kids, leave. If you do have kids, make her leave. That's a choice. Same as anything. You don't have to leave. That's the other thing. A lot of these guys like that. Disrespect you. Fuck that bitch. Get out of there. Kill her. Destroy your family over nothing. Not necessarily. There's many options available to you. Had guys that decide, I'm just going to go get my needs met elsewhere. But I like the idea of a coherent family unit at home. I'm not going to leave my wife. I'm just going to go have fun on the weekends elsewhere. They learn how to be subtle. They learn how not to embarrass the family and keep the family together. And then they learn to go get their needs met elsewhere. That's an option. Some guys just like the option of, like, the kids are 16. They're 2 years from moving out. I'm just going to suck it up for 2 years. And then as soon as that's done, then I'm going to leave. That's an option too. You always got options. You may not like them. They may be the best of a worst set of options. But you always have options. Panama. You guys are just putting random shit in here now. I'm addicted to being human. Good for you, sir. And that's the whole point of it. And yeah, so it's like, oh, what's the narrative you're trying to give me? Just navigate, man. You have to build your own narratives. You have to. Because everybody else's narrative is self-serving. And I'm saying this flat out as a guy who's doing this too. This is self-serving. I want you to buy 100,000 copies of The Dog Walker. Flat out. Flat out. If they guaranteed me you can do this channel for 10 years and you will not sell a book, I would stop doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow. Because ultimately that's my interest in this one. I want to be able to carve out a decent income, a sustainable way of life from this stuff. And it just so happens, instead of filling your heads with the fear and then selling you a course to alleviate you of that fear, my goals are different. My goal is to be competent, to offer you something that I think is useful for you guys and that I have seen is useful for other people. That's my goal. Mostly because I can't live with being a piece of shit. And then, yeah, well, I've taught you everything, so now what? Well, why don't I try entertaining you? And it works. Dude, you guys are loving it. I'm still amazed, impressed, and... So here's a little book thing. It's a small aside. So normally, with the books, I will sell 60% audiobook, 40% book. And of the 40% of the books, it's 2-to-1 Kindle versus print. So I'll sell 2 Kindles for every 1 paperback. Except for the Dog Walker. 2-to-1 print copies. I'm like, that's awesome. I enjoy the fact, and it's awesome because, like, as an artist and a creative, I have designed the book specifically to be more of a pleasant experience. Like, you know how Apple used to be like, make this thing thinner, shave the thing off, threw it in the water tank, the bubbles came up, all those little stories about how he was meticulous about little details. I did a lot of that on there too. And so to see guys prefer the enjoyment of the entire experience as opposed to just the words, awesome. Means I'm doing it well. Good for me, good for you. When there's cheerleading by subs to like, it's both sweet and cringe. Yeah, it's fine. Cringe is not the worst thing that could happen. To be fair, there's 2 types of cringe. There's stuff that's embarrassing, and there's stuff that people just sincerely enjoy, and other people are afraid to express sincerity, and so they call things cringe. So that's the 2 types of cringe. Just so you guys are knowing. Oh yeah, while we're at it.
Name a bigger red flag than a white guy with a podcast. I'll wait.
I am not impressed. I will have you know, I'm like 80% white. The podcast is goddamn good, and I don't want you anyway. You got random Iroquois art and not art on your walls. You're not my type, sir. Or madam. I don't know, you're allowed to say anymore?
Are you allowed to say anymore? Yeah, and the Access Vegas thing, like, I don't think they talk more actionable stuff, but that's not the point of Access Vegas. The point of Access Vegas is Access Vegas. And let's face facts. If you guys really just wanted practical information, you know what you would be doing? You wouldn't be watching this. You would be watching my sidebar series, the playlist on here. Because that's where it's all 100% actionable information. It is boring. It is dry. It is informative. It gives you the list of the materials, the course materials, the lecture, the whole thing. That is the boring stuff. And in fairness, it is still an amazingly well-performing series. This channel would have probably been dead if not for the actual, like, if it wasn't for the whole purpose of the channel. Like, let me just pull it up now. What I mean here. So originally it was like a series. Each one had its own episodes and that. I've kind of combined them together now. So, for example, Practical Female Psychology is now a 7-hour video series where it has all the episodes in there with timestamps. And that's still every day, thousands of people or hundreds of people hundreds of people are tuning in to watch that one. So I know there's a big thing for it, but I know there's also a big thing for the entertaining side of things. I'd like to think of this podcast as like a middle ground. And then the Chick Talks is more as the entertainment side, and the Doc Walker's the entertainment side, and then Frame and Dread is this. So you really get to have like your level of involvement. Do you want dry information? Do you want clowning around? Do you want something in the middle? About the paperback, but I'm also buying the hard edition. Well, I'm not going to talk you out of buying a second copy. I'm not going to lie to you. I will admit. Oh, and I keep forgetting, I gotta send Mish a copy of the books, because he can't get them in Saudi Arabia. The hardcover is a different experience. It's kind of enjoyable, too. Like, I got it right here in front of me. I don't know, it just feels more permanent, more thicker. Yeah, I have an entire playlist of Red Morning, and I'm on Tenter books for the cookbooks. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Okay, anyways, switching up on this one. What was the next thing? Oh, about the cooking. I have ideas on cooking one. So I'll give you guys a quick little recipe now, something that's good. It's something I've been playing around with and for breakfast. It's my type of scrambled eggs. Do you know how, as far as I know, they're glue bonding? Or no, wait, maybe they're stitched. Hold on a second. It's glued and stitched, because I see stitches and glue on there. It's Amazon, however they do theirs. You guys have seen the Gordon Ramsay scrambled egg ones, where he whips them up, whips through the curds, and then he puts like a bit of sour cream in there. So I'm going to give you my version of scrambled eggs. And Vince was arguing about it before too, so I've been doing that one a lot. So everybody does scrambled eggs the same way. It's almost like frying them and then quickly stirring them as you fry it to build them into little chunks right that. I find a far better way is, I was inspired by like a custard. Have you ever made a custard? It's like eggs and cream, and then you whip it together and it makes like, custard. Same thing you'd put in a Bavarian cream donut. So low heat, just your eggs, you whip them together, and then you put a slice or two of like American cheese in there. You're like, that's not real cheese. Use real cheese. You can use real cheese. Once I finish here, I'll explain the differences. So the idea, and you put it on like low to medium heat. So it's not enough to fry the eggs. What you want to do is you're slowly building up the temperature until it hits 154 degrees Fahrenheit. At that temperature, it will melt the cheese and it will emulsify the eggs. And you're constantly stirring it. And so what you end up getting is more of it's a thicker texture than pudding, but it's a thinner texture than what you're used to with scrambled eggs. And then you put it onto your plate, and that's great. You can dip toast with it, toast points, crackers, whatever. Or you can just eat it as is. The cheese offers a nice creamy texture to it. And it's just amazing. And then all you need is a little bit of salt and pepper. It's probably like this. It takes a little bit of work, but it's like the simplest, easiest, and best way you can make it. You don't have to do all the fancy cook stuff, or then you put sour cream in there to temper the thing. Like, no. So the person who never asked was asking, why don't you just use real cheese? It's better than the Kraft singles. Yes, but here's the point. The Kraft singles, the American cheese, there is an emulsifier in that. Turns out you can't, because when you overheat cheese, the fat and the oils and the proteins, they separate. You guys have ever seen that when you do like a grilled cheese and you cook it for too much, it just gets oily? That's the separation of ingredients. With the emulsifier that they use in American cheese, it doesn't separate. So if you're to use real cheese on these eggs, you can do that, but then you have more chances to screw it up. So if you overcook the eggs just a little bit, it'll start to separate and it loses a lot of its mouthfeel and a lot of its texture. It becomes oilier. If you use the Kraft singles, there's nothing you can do. You could beat the shit out of them and they will be perfect every time. So it's really up to you. If you want to, if you're confident enough, you're tired and hungover and just wanted to make some eggs for you and the girl that you just slept with last night, because if you give her breakfast, then she'll not me to you the next day or whatever, then yeah, absolutely. And I always just, it's like a nice simple breakfast. I'll fry a piece of bread, which I prefer fried over a toaster because it makes it less dry. It keeps the moistness to it and the crispiness. And if you only toast the one side of it, the side that, and you can sprinkle eggs on it, and then you still have, you don't cut your mouth on the things in the bottom, and it's got good crunch to it. And then little cherry tomatoes, just fry those briefly. You just fry them enough until the center starts to steam and they'll start to pop. Put that together, it's probably like the simplest, easiest, healthiest breakfast ever. You could eat that on a cutting diet for the longest time, and it's just great. None of this rice and broccoli shit, you know? And that's it. You don't even have to use like the whisk or anything like that. You can use a little quart saucepan. You can use a frying pan. It doesn't matter. It's just low heat. Technically, what I use is what are those little rubber spatulas called? I think it's what it's called, spatula. You know the ones you always use it on cake batter to get all the cake batter off the sides? You just use that because it's slow enough heat, you're not melting it. Makes it easier to clean too because you don't end up having any fried egg stuck to your pan. So it makes your whole life easier. You're just better off going with it. I've been bought 2 dozen Araucana eggs. They're blue, pale, and ivory Soto. Well, that's interesting. Silicone. You're just using random words in here. Yeah, so little things like that. And I kind of liked when I was doing the cooking channel, that was the goal of it. It was like no esoteric ingredients, no difficult techniques. I wanted stuff that was like you could pick the biggest moron on earth and he could put something good together, like rice in the microwave. Idiot proof. So I'll probably go there on this channel eventually. I still got to get caught up. My backlog of Orion videos is finished now, so I have to re-record some new ones. Coming out tomorrow, by the way, Dead Leaves. You're like, what? An anime? Yeah, Dead Leaves. It is a short film. It's only an hour long about a guy with a genetic defect as a guy with a TV for a head and a girl with a panda eye committing ultra violence. And I love that one. It's chaotic. It's the closest equivalent to it is if you ever watched this movie with it's Clive Owen called Shoot 'Em Up. Have you ever watched that? Where or Crank 2. Another good example where they're movies, but the plot, all the things I'm telling you of storytelling, it doesn't do them. Character development, plot, consistency, it's missing all of that. So you're like, why is this one any good then? And it's a concept called verisimilitude. The idea of when people say they want realism in movies, that's actually what they want. It's the appearance of being realistic. It's that consistency. It's what allows you to suspend disbelief. Because the idea of a TV-headed character firing a gun into a bunch of cops, completely unrealistic. Nobody would believe that. But you kind of buy into it anyway, right? You suspend disbelief. Verisimilitude is the art of getting people to suspend disbelief without breaking that suspension. And what I loved about this movie as an example is it 100% is all verisimilitude. All of it. It doesn't do anything else except for that. So it's as a singular example. I think it's great. Just roasting one side of the bread for stability and crisp. Yeah, well, because when we were doing our sourdough thing during COVID, we still do it occasionally. You get a much rougher bread, a much harder crust, and so if you toast that kind of bread, it tears the shit out of your mouth. And so what I got in the habit of doing is just toast the one side. And then if you're putting your peanut butter and jelly or your eggs or whatever on top of it, you'll still get the crunch from toast, but then you don't tear the shit out of your mouth as you're doing it. Oh, the spatula silicone. Yeah, they're the heat resistant silicone. You're right. But you see what I mean? There's like simple things like this. And Why aren't you talking about women? Well, like, arguably, anything I could have told you, I've already told you. Stuff about game. I've even written, like, how would you apply the mystery method to, like, a modern scenario? How do you apply that within a marriage? Like, that stuff's all there. And once you got that done, that's the kind of the point here. Once that's all done, your marriage is good, family's doing good. You know, the cheating thing, you passed, like, none of that matters to you anymore. It's all gone. Making money, getting muscles, having game, all that stuff is good. So now what? Well, sometimes you just got to learn. And Clary, hikes. Clary will show you how to take hikes. Once you've done all of this work to get you at the place you're going to do, what do you do with that power? And more often than not, guys will just have simple enjoyment, simple pleasures. I want to make the perfect set of scrambled eggs. I want to make the perfect Chinese omelet. I want to make the perfect American-style omelet. I want to go on a hike on the second greatest park in the States. Little things like this. I want to write the great American novel. I want to entertain people with words. All these things, they're simple, and they build on top of it. So in a way, you're kind of watching the path roll out for you. It's the meta. It's the same as when I used to talk about how I enjoyed about Jordan Peterson. It wasn't so much his lessons or his lectures that I liked, which some of his psychological stuff was good. The maps of meaning, I mean, take it or leave it. And his new thing, I'm like, meh. But you watch his meta rise to fame. He was just some Canadian teacher. He got caught up in Canadian bullshit, hit on the right thing, got super famous. You find out his like daughter gets just like a whiff of fame, and then she goes fucking full whore and all that stuff, which sucks for him. Wife gets cancer, gets a bunch of hardship, ends up getting hooked on benzos, almost has a thing, had to go to Russia to get a detox. Kind of checked out, realizing that trying to save your audience and like, I can help these guys. And then the guys end up just like driving him into the ground. So now he's like, you know what? I'm just going to get paid. I'm going to say what's on the teleprompter. I'm going to wear funky suits. I'm going to sell a $12,000 Jordan Peterson rug. I'm over it. And he just decides to cash out. I'm like, I love the Jordan Peterson arc. I think it's great. I aspire to be at that point where you're like, you just take your ball and go home. You know what? I'm just going to take $8 million a year in Daily Wire money. I'm fucking out of here. I don't care anymore. All these guys I tried to save, they fucking drove me to suicide almost. Fuck that. Where do I have that? Well, there's two places. One place on the Patreon, and the other place is in Frame, where I talk about both of those. And that's with everything. When I'm talking here, if I come up with concepts, you guys, what the hell is that? Expand on that. I did expand on that. For the most part, it's in the Praxeology series, or it's in my Patreon. Everything here I talk about, it's all in there. And I just hope that the audience catches up. It's the other thing I do. It's not great from marketing, especially if new people are coming in. It's that it sounds a little complicated. It's not complicated, you just don't know the things yet. But I don't ever dumb it down. Like, I always hate that shit. And I know a lot of people that I like do it, where they'll explain a concept. Like, well, it's just like, and then they make the stupidest, most ham-fisted analogy. It's hypergamy. So, like picture this. You're playing cards, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm never going to do that to you. I would rather you be confused. What is he talking about? I don't understand that. And then to make you curious enough to go actually look at what we're talking about to get caught up. I would much rather have that and lose some people who are like, ah, fuck, whatever, than to sit here giving you guys Sesame Street level takes on red pill stuff. I think that's fucking ridiculous. It's an infantilization. You guys are too stupid and too incurious to go look stuff up. So I'm just going to spoon feed it to you. Here comes the airplane. Choo choo. Fuck that. Remember those old medicine spoons you had as a kid where the spoon had a hollow handle and then you put the medicine in there on the dosage and then you just fucking put the spoon? I'm not going to do that. What's going on with your friend's channel? Which friend? Not Billy. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it still works. And I think that's what people miss when they see this stuff is they're focused on the same thing with the workouts, right? How it's like, oh, I'm in pain. This is a great workout. The pain's not about it. They see the mystery method. It's like, I don't want to look like a clown dressed like a magician in LA. It's like, of course you don't. That's not at all what the fucking mystery method is, though. It's literally training wheels. They take a little bit that they've learned about Evo Psych and psychology and human behavior and marketing, and they apply it to dating. Yeah, but, we don't have flip phones anymore. That's fine. You adapt it. The techniques are still fine. The idea of indicators of interest has not changed. You might have different indicators of interest if you pick a girl up off of Tinder versus at the bar versus in a coffee house, but they're still indicators of interest. What are displays of higher value? Well, those haven't changed. Well, maybe now having the newest iPhone is a display of higher value, where back then having a lot of friends was a display of higher value, but they're still DHVs. They haven't changed. What Jack found is a mystery hat. That's awesome. None of the stuff has changed. The only thing that's changed is the way it implemented. And that kind of, I enjoy that part of it, because I think the big difference between you guys doing well with this stuff and not doing well with this stuff is mapping it. It's a corporate term. I don't know. They probably do it everywhere, where you'll talk about something and you're like, well, map this to our situation. If you're able to map 2004 mystery method to your current situation, that proves A, you're not just reading things and like paint by numbers. Well, he said do this, so I'm doing that. You're just mirroring what people told you to do. Nobody wants sycophants. Well, I mean, some people do. I don't. You don't want to be a sycophant. You need to take this stuff, and then you need to use your own judgment, your own analysis, and your own ability to observe the effect that you're having on the world. And so when you can take something, a 20-year-old mystery method pickup routine or whatever, and apply it to your current situation, that means you're thinking. I don't want to say critical thinking, because that has a specific term and that's not what I'm talking about, but you're thinking critically about how this applies to you and if it doesn't. And that's the best part, because there's a lot of things here that either A, won't apply to your current situation, or B, are just outright bullshit. Tons of it. Used to call it mental masturbation. Guys used to theory craft a pickup routine, the perfect pickup routine, and they read I've read RSD, and I've read mystery, and I know what to do, and I just combine them all into the perfect thing, and the 5 infinity stones. It's like, dude, have you talked to a girl with this? No? Well, do that and get back to me. And they do, and they're like, dude, this doesn't work. This is fucking ridiculous. This is wasting my time. It's because those guys aren't thinking critically. They're just parroting what they heard, and they're parroting what they said. And now those guys run podcasts talking about hoes and OnlyFans. Did you know 60% of OnlyFans chicks are 35% of the divorces 70% of the time? Did you know? Get mad. You need to get mad and subscribe to my war room of masculine excellence. $39.99. You'll love it. Some of Mr. Method works better now. Who the hell wants to walk around with a bunch of pictures to show girls how cool you are? Was that ever a thing in there? I don't remember the picture part of it. It's been a while since I got through the annihilation method and that, but displays of higher value were never, I always found them to be more subtle. For the most part, the stuff that I remember was stories. So you have rapport building stories, right? Yeah, fair enough then. It was always rapport building stories. And what you want to do is you want to sprinkle as displays of higher value into the stories. And you'll see, like, girls are really good at that naturally. If you ever go on TikTok and you see, like, basic bitches talking about their day and stuff, you'll, like, if you listen to it for the parts where they're doing, like, little humble brags or displays of higher value, they do 5 or 6 in a story, and that's what you learned. Like, you'll tell a story, and yeah, I was on this date with a girl, display of higher value. Girls are interested in me, you have a date was going well, blah, blah, blah. She goes crazy. Display of higher value. Girl's willing to fucking lose her fucking mind over me. But you're telling the story in a way that's like, dude, and she's hiding in my bushes, and it sounds like a story of you have this amazing hardship and this victim thing, and oh my god, my life is a train wreck. But the girls learn that, and like, all right, girl liked him, girl went crazy over him. Guy's like, you know, generally astute about how to do things. Nothing gives him the ick. And so you'd learn the subtlety of peppering these into your stories, displays of higher value. I guess there's lots of other ways of doing it too. Rollo had that great one that he did, where he would, hold my drink for a sec, and then he would go play a set on the stage. That was his display of higher value. Oh, this is a great club. Who's the band playing tonight? I'm the band. I'm the band playing tonight. And he wasn't playing bass, so he's like, yeah, I'm a good person. You show girls picture of a bear that you beat or that you went to Paris. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. That's more clownish stuff. I never really caught on to that. The one thing RSD I liked better was his internal game. Like, yeah, use the canned scripts if you don't have any, but the idea was to build your own and use those. Use a supermodel picture, tell her she's my wife. Yeah, see, I always went the opposite way with that stuff. That's why I always told girls I was an accountant. That was my DHV. An accountant? What kind of guy would lie about having a really shitty, boring job? I'm like, I absolutely preferred to do that. I thought it was great. Because there was nothing about our interaction that had accountant vibes at all. So when girls saw that, they just... Oh, it worked. Yeah, once you understand the basics, the ideas, everything clicks. It's simple. Yeah. And the stuff carries over. It's the same thing. All right, let's... Oh, hey, guess who went bankrupt and who's out of a job?
I don't usually post pictures of my kids online, but they're infants and you can barely see them, so, you know, it's fine. But a YouTuber named Ryan Stone tweeted, showing off the F trophies for clout. So the babies are trophies that I'm showing off. It's perhaps not a surprise that a picture of a proud father would be so upsetting to the sort of man who clearly never had one.
Are you calling Matt Walsh the unfrozen caveman lawyer? Yeah, Daily Wire, very sad day. U.S. aid can't dried up. It's like that one tweet somebody put out, made me laugh. The big black pilling event is going to find out that all the fighting that you've seen in your life ends up being a line item on some government receipt. Both sides of the argument are now some line item on some government tax-funded bullshit. And it is. That's the other part of this too. That should, if it didn't open your eyes to this, I'm opening them for you right now. Culture war, the troons in the bathrooms, Matt Walsh yelling at Dylan Mulvaney. They were all taxpayer-funded kayfabe. All of it. They paid Dylan Mulvaney to drink Bud Light and walk around like a little twink. They paid Matt Walsh to yell at her and look like a disappointed dad. They paid Ben Shapiro to yell. They paid the fake Hamas protesters to look like Palestinian terrorists. They paid the angry Jewish guys to get mad at them. All of this, all the conflict that we have. I would not be surprised. So this is my $1 billion getting sued Alex Jones take. I'm going to give you one today. I'm going to give you one. We're going to do it once. We're going to go live. I'm going to give you one. There's that story in the news. I don't remember the names, but it was some kids at a track meet. And black kid was in a tent. And then the white kid's like, hey, get out of our tent. And then the black guy stabbed him in the chest. Kid dies. Horrible, tragic event. Dad goes on TV, says, let's not be racist, guys. He didn't do nothing. And then the kid starts a GoFundMe. The stabby kid starts a GoFundMe for his legal defense. Uses that, buys a house, gets a bunch of bling, opens a merch shop, starting a podcast. Everybody's mad. Everybody's irritated. But, like, I haven't seen anybody who knows these people. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. But I am saying, how difficult would it have been to manufacture this entire story to provoke race issues? You know what I mean? Nobody knows. And it's the internet nowadays. There's people on TikTok. It's like, hey, does anybody know a Jim from Calgary? Because he left his jacket at my place. There's TikToks like that out there. Within 3 days, a Jim's like, makes a video going, yeah, I'm the Jim. You mean to tell me that they have this stabby situation, all this rigmarole, and nobody's like, oh, I went to high school with that kid. He's actually a dick. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Of course, maybe it is true. I'm not about to pay $1 billion in a lawsuit like Alex Jones to say it was crisis actors. Like, I'm not going there. Fuck that. And even if that one's legit, there's hundreds of these. Every week there's something new. And everybody dives on it because content is hard and talent is hard and entertainment is hard. So it's way easier to just, what's the new thing in the news? I'm going to give my opinion on that because you would pay me to have me run my mouth about it. Because I'm just an important podcaster. You're like, holy shit. Siege D, $1.99 super chat. Whoa, Couch is back. Couch has never left. Couch took his 6th break. My annual break from one episode of the show. What can I say? I got a work ethic if nothing else. The chick with the 100 dicks on the thing. Is that real or was that fake? Maybe. The one friend of hers did 1,000 dicks later to teach her a lesson. Is that fake or is that real? Maybe. And you can't tell. Everything is crying wolf now. Everything cries wolf. So you never know what's true. So when somebody's sitting here rifling off stats, do you know those stats are true? Do you know how many things have to go right for this shit that they're scaring you about on these masculine podcasts to be true? Well, 70% of women initiate divorces, do they? Like, do you know? How do you know? Well, somebody took a screenshot of a chart out of a study. Oh, so we're assuming that the study is like legit, which it probably isn't. And it was done with like proper rigor, made sure they grabbed the right information, which it probably didn't. And if the results that they had in the abstract and the results on the chart are reflected the results in the study, which it probably doesn't, and the study's been replicated, somebody else has managed to take their findings and replicate them on their own, so we have certainty that it exists, which they don't, and that the person interpreting those statistics knows what they're doing. It doesn't have a hidden agenda, which they absolutely do, and they definitely didn't. And then the guy taking the screenshot of that opinion of the study that was done based on other people's experience that has not been replicated, he's actually using it properly, which he most certainly isn't. Then yeah, we can trust all of these numbers. What can you trust now? You can't trust any of this shit. You mean to tell me in that chain of 10 different steps and 5 different people that not one of them is a lying asshole? I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. So what do you do? It's the same thing I've been saying since the start. I'll give you stuff here. I could be full of shit. Pick something small, easy. Try it out for yourself. If I'm telling you about the working out, like the workout in the pain thing, good example. Have you ever tried a workout where you don't try to beat yourself and throw up in the parking lot? Have you made the effort to make sure that every workout you do, you're at the same level of strength or better? Adequate rest? Have you done that? I'll try it out. We'll see if he's right. And then you'll try it out and you'll be like, fuck, it's right. My numbers, I did that myself. Strong list 5x5. My numbers were going up. I wasn't sore once. I don't know. My numbers keep going up. I keep getting stronger. Then I hit like 3 plates on the squat and I'm like, all right, I don't want to go to Snap City. I brought it back down. Take a break, whatever. But you do that once, and then that gives you the confidence in the person that maybe their next thing is good too. And then you try the next thing, and you try the next thing, and you try the next thing. And eventually you're going to start getting an idea, okay, now that I've had these 18 things that worked, if somebody's asking me about a 19th thing, there's probably something in common with the first 18. So I'm like, okay, I got a level of confidence that this makes sense. It jives with what I already know. Like you'll see here in the chat, there's occasionally guys who talk about, I finally did, I think it was a Bishop talking about, I did the thing like they did in Fuck Files. Yeah, it worked for me. And you're seeing that. Guys are trying stuff and it's working and they're having similar experiences and it works. And now you have your experiences, which you compare to what other people are telling you. And like, does this jive with what I've already done? Not what I've heard from somebody else, what I've done. Yeah, kinda. Or like, I don't know, I don't have enough experience yet. But then you see 15 other people like, no, it worked for me. It worked for me. You're building yourself your own lexicon of confidence in navigation. How do you navigate around things? I got a better idea now. These 50 guys, it works for them. These 10, it doesn't. This one worked for me. This one didn't work for me. You build it yourself. And here's the thing. Most guys don't do that in the same way that most podcasters just want to scare you into buying their courses because it's easier. You know how hard it is to go do things every day? Do you know how hard it is to get rejected? Do you know how hard it is to build up your own lexicon of personal experience? It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. You have generations of bullshit and risk aversion and school marms nagging you to stop it from happening. You have to break through all of that just to go to the gym. Do you know how many guys have like a clingy girl at home? When they want to go to the gym, she starts latching onto him like a spider monkey. No, don't leave. Don't cheat on me. You're like, dude, I'm going to do the bench press. Get the fuck off of me. You know how many of those guys buckle? It's like, fine, we'll stay home. 6 months later, she leaves. He's fat. Fuck, that was a waste. Yeah, we make things harder than they have to be. Which technically is why they're hard. That's the emotional side of things, the emotional pillar. Arrow, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. No comment on that, but that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with just giving you a thank you. I've already done the Jack Murphy, so... Oh, you know what? Is it this one? Yeah. Here, we'll give you one of these.
You can choose your misery with some pretty girl that, whatever, that you just... And I honestly find it
If your man
interesting
is
for you to say
seeking,
smart.
it's probably because you're not satisfying your man.
Right, so exactly. Do not discredit intelligence of others. Please do not use that word.
But marrying or committing to? No, absolutely not. My son will, marry an accountant. Not one of my sons would I allow to even date one of you girls. Because you don't shut up. It has been fun. It has been an honor. We're going hiking.
Yes. Sad Clary is best Clary. I got a second one of those. I don't remember where I put it. So if I find it, I'll put it in there. That was for you. Thank you very much for the super chat, sir. And you know what's funny too? That look of agony, that's not actually the look. He was doing that on our thing too on Rolo's show. That's just when he's thinking. He looks down and he's listening to what you're saying. He's paying attention. But it just so perfectly looks like a guy who's checked out and disgruntled. The manipulations are in the edits, sir. Myron looked like he wasn't too happy with Cappy and his classic. Yeah. The trick about movie guys when they do the editing. Filming is honesty and editing is lies. Interesting, huh? So yeah, he was annoyed by it, but those looks in his face were just him looking around. Did the same one with us. And our banter was much better. I think it was because I was talking about... I was talking to Rolo. I was like, dude, how have I not done this earlier? The amount of things you can write off as a business expense is just insane. My tax aversion strategy is awesome. And Clary's like, no, tax aversion is illegal, sir. What you want to do is tax abatement. And I'm like, I don't know. He's an economist. I'm like, oh, geez, really? So I look it up. Look it up in the IRS. I'm like, is tax aversion illegal? And on the IRS government website, they're not. Tax aversion is not illegal. It is actually perfectly legal. And so we roasted him for like an hour. Technically, so if I remember, tax abatement, let's say you have a piece of real estate and you pay X amount of property taxes on $1 million home, right? Tax abatement is you're like, okay, the home's value is actually $800,000, so I need to pay less. And so it's a way of reducing taxes, saying that your assets that are taxable are now worth less, and so you have to pay less, or revenues are less, something like that. Tax avoidance is just using the laws as they stand to their fullest extent. Because taxes are generally a way they try to use them as a way to change behavior. If they want more people to drive electric cars, they tax gas more. People use less gas, people go electric car. That's the idea of it, right? So tax avoidance is doing all that. Tax evasion is just not paying taxes and breaking the law. So yeah. So it was pretty funny when I'm like, hey, this sailor, he knows more about taxes than the master economist on his podcast. It made me funny. So anyways, I'm out on this one. I actually went way ahead of time. I don't think they're doing a Rule Zero today. Everybody's kind of running out and about and busy. And to be fair, I want to lie down. I want to make some eggs. I'm going to lie down. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. Two things. I got to do my pitches here. The tax aversion is not... Evasion, yeah. So the dog walker is still doing good. I have plans in the future to do an audiobook for it. I've just been too busy to get started on it yet. So dog walker on Kindle, on paperback, in hardcover, fucking amazing book. You'll love it because, yeah, there's red-pilled stuff in there, but it is a story first and foremost. And you'll kind of they'll be like, oh my God, is he talking about, oh, he is too. Oh, that's clever. Everything kind of fits within a real life thing. It's not preachy. It's an actual story. It's about a guy, a Rex, a promise keeper. His stepdad was like ridiculously bad to his mom, and he promised himself never to do that to another woman. And then he found out that all of his stupid rules that he built up to make him avoid that was actually just a way of defending himself against pain. And that in doing this stuff, he actually turns into the exact kind of person he doesn't want to do. And I'm not going to spoil it, but he learns to kind of like to be a red pill man technically, but it's not worded like that. He just learns, okay, you can enjoy yourself. You don't need to make these rules. You can just be honest. And it ends up being a much more enjoyable experience. Gets wisdom. His Yoda is a stripper. goes through some pain, goes through some hardship, comes out the other end, a much better man. It's contemporary fiction. If a girl had written it, it would have basically been 50 Shades of Grey. But this is one that's appealing more to male sensibilities. And it's showing that, yeah, guys will read books if they're well written. And there's like so many things. Basically, I have a hard time reading for the same time you guys probably do. I find my mind drifts. It's hard to stay focused. And it turns out it's not because I'm bad at it or have ADHD. It's just people are bad writers nowadays. Not to say I'm the greatest writer, but I'm good enough. Good enough. They try to write books either A, to fluff their own, like, I'm such a smart guy, look at how great I am, which nobody cares. Show me a good story. Or B, they try to write a movie, and so they describe everything as if, and they're trying to do a better movie than a movie could do. And a movie will always do visuals better, so don't write the visuals, write the characters, write things that books can do that movies can't. So yeah, it's one of those. But even then, just get this. If you don't believe me, get the sample. Read the first line. If that doesn't get you hooked, read the first paragraph. If that doesn't get you hooked, the first page. If that doesn't get you hooked, the first paragraph. I guarantee you by the time you get through, or the first chapter. By the time you get through the first chapter, you will want to keep reading it and you'll get yourself your own copy. I guarantee it. You will laugh 3 times, at least, in this book. Or your money back. Offer does not actually involve his money back. It's more of a saying. And then, Substack. If you're not following me on Substack, you are missing a majority of the work. Any of the short stories I wrote, and there's some bangers out there, man. Man and His Dog, The Gay Military Funeral. Absolutely wonderful short reads. I do case studies every Tuesday. So you're seeing, it's not just the field reports, but it is a lot of the time it is longitudinal and it is multi-person field reports. Kind of similar to what you're seeing in Praxeology Volume 3 and what you're going to see in Praxeology Volume 4. So you can follow along about that. For all you guys who are like, I wish there was more like meat on this, more actionable, more practical advice. I'm showing you that. I'm like, look, here's this guy. He's doing exactly the same thing that everybody does. You know, all of the mental models that he's supposed to use, you know, all the techniques, all the tricks, all the tips, all the actionable stuff he's doing. Here are the problems that come when guys do that. Here are the common mistakes because everybody makes the same mistakes. So when you're going through yourself, it gives you that confidence to go, oh, when I did this, I made that same mistake. Well, that's good to know. At least it's normal. And then what did he do to solve it? Oh, he did that and it solved it. Or what could he have done to solve that? Or in your case, I'm about to do this. At least now I know what the common mistakes are so I don't make them. There's that part there. And you're going to follow along and you're going to see the new story. You're going to love it. So I'm spreading all over genres right now. The contemporary fiction, Dog Walker. Absolutely wonderful. Great book. Character study. Love it. The working title of this one is Jake Long in Softbone. It is a cyberpunk dystopian. I don't even know what to call it, a thriller. I'm going to call it a character study because they're all character. I'm always about telling the stories and the characters. But yeah, so you think about all the bullshit we see now, like with the trooning out in the bathrooms, the feminist imperative stuff, all that stuff. And I'm like, the point of cyberpunk is to take our current annoyances when it comes to technology and how they're reducing our quality of life. Take the ones we have all right now, and I'm in Canada, we got a lot of them, and just add 10% of them, and it turns it into like a satirical, almost a lampoon of our current situation. So I'll give you an example. You know, everybody's on SSRIs now, all the chicks are on those. Well, now that you have like FemLaw running the city, all offices are providing like free Xanax, free Ambien. They make like soft drinks with it. They've made tobacco and alcohol and caffeine illegal because those are like masculine ones. So everything feminine, Xanax, Ambien. It's like fruit flavored. You'll love it. Or technology. Like if you watch this, you've probably seen a bunch of ads on here on YouTube already. What if I made it so that everything had AdSense? Like Google owns the town or Amazon. So you want to go to take a shit in the bathroom and you tap your phone on the wall and then the wall makes you watch a 30-second ad before the door opens to have you take a shit. Like just those little levels of high tech causing low life. And then you build a story in that of a guy. And I kind of like how the characters are going out now. So the way it works now is like there is different types of family formations. And there's a reason for it in the story, so I'm not really explaining it well, but it's hard without explaining the story. Like one guy, his goal is to have a harem. Another one is like a single mom. Another one, a divorced guy, widowed guy. And it's all of these people trying to go through. And that's the underlying story, is that how do they form happiness in this dystopian hellhole? And then like the tech and the cyberpunk and the technology all kind of works it together and weaves it into like a wonderfully engaging story. I mean, it's not engaging yet. I've finished the first draft. I still have to do at least a second draft, if not a third draft. Nick and I have just talked about where it's good and where it's bad. So I'm going to pretty much, same as with the other books, where I have to essentially rewrite it right now. But if you're on the Substack, you can kind of follow along, see where things going, whet your appetite, see if it's what you're into or not. And hey, if it inspires you to get your own books out, I would love for more people to have creative fiction out there. I would promote the shit out of it. There's such a drive and a desire for things that aren't shitty Disney flop or Disney slop that I would kill. I would promote the shit out of you. Anyways, so that's it for me. The new camera's arriving Tuesday, so next week we're back to normal. We'll have like a nice normal podcast, nice actionable information thing here. And I will catch you guys later.
'79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood. Take one.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?